Yeah, sorry I'm late because what do you call this? I okay, I'm drinking coffee now. So I was drinking like starting 10 minutes ago and I felt like yeah, this is a shitty way to start the stream, but it's like I felt like maybe I should do a quartering first before I start, but you know what? Never mind. I think I'll power through. But yeah, so for today, it's just gonna be me again because what do you call this? Phil's wife is having surgery for her, I believe, on her foot or somewhere in her knee. So she's okay. She's okay. She's fine. Nothing. Not nothing major. But it's just that Phil needs to be with her for this week. So yep, it's just little old me. So yeah, I tried scouring for stuff to talk about. So I think legit this time I won't be taking like 4 hours or 5 hours for this week. I think I'll just be reacting to videos or major stuff that came out this week. You had the feel, yeah, because like it's just Rabnat, it's yeah, his wife has had a procedure for this week. That's why he wasn't able to live stream for also on his personal channel. But yeah, anyway, let me see. Let me talk to the chat. Hi, unacceptable views, gray only episodes. So yeah, I'll be responding to chat. Yep, I'm late because like I was contemplating should I do my dirty business first or should I just go live already? You know what? I'm late already. I'll just go live. What's up, Snap Rai? And then ready to be vice president. Nah, I don't ever want I don't ever want to get into politics ever. Anyway, Phil wasn't even there for the birth of his kid. That'll be funny. But anyway, yeah, this I tried searching for stuff I want to talk about, but I feel like there's not a lot. Like I know there's like a new casting for Legend. There's new casting reveals for Legend of Zelda, the movie. But you know what? I'm not really a Zelda guy, and I don't really know those people that they are revealed. One is like the one woman, right, and one is the some older actor. Which people were speculating why they casted those people, but for me, all I have to say is it's because what do you call this? I get my speculation is like it wasn't there chat wasn't there like a farm or a ranch in Ocarina of Time? Isn't there like I think he's the guy managing the ranch and the woman is the daughter. I don't know. I'm just purely speculating. So so I don't know. I can't really say much about it. That's why I don't really want to talk about it about the casting as much. Phil probably has more to say, but unfortunately he's not here. But my speculation is he's the guy with in the ranch. The am I remembering the same Zelda? But I know there's a ranch in Ocarina of Time where there's like a father and daughter, or a grandpa and a daughter. Maybe it's them. Maybe they're the ones managing the ranch. Yeah, Lon Lon Ranch. I think that's the one. I think RPG Grae isn't a Zelda guy. I don't consider Zelda games to be what do you call this to be RPGs. They're more of like action adventure or platformers. But yeah, I mean, in my defense, I finished Adventures of Elliot. For me, that's more of a JRPG. I finished it like in 3 days, 4 days, and I even got all the achievements. So yeah. Anyway, so I'm gonna start with some pop culture stuff, and then the rest of it is gonna be gaming videos. So yeah, let's see. Where do I begin? Let me share my screen. Wait, I need to open this and then yeah, here we go. I'm going to start with the I can wait the chat can yeah, okay. I'm gonna start with the Asmongold banning on Twitch. So I didn't look up the details about this, but uh as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, it's because of his remarks on the what happened last week with the crossing of the border of Spain. He said some stuff about it. Then that's why Twitch banned it. I could be wrong. Maybe there's another reason that came up, but that's the last one that I've read. But in my before I play this video, in my opinion, it's like Twitch has been has had double standards for the longest time already. Like it's been probably decades at this point that's Twitch has been doing this. You know, you get to see Hassan saying that, you know, America deserved 9/11 and other atrocious things, and yet he's still on the platform just fine. And what do you call this? And to me, it's like, you know, part to blame is like, well, yeah, don't get me wrong. As what happened to Asmongold, with what I know, is incorrect. But you know, it's the big streamers who are against this stuff. Like I've been saying this for quite a while now. Stop using the platform. You know, like he keeps like people keep complaining. Oh, why is Twitch like this? Oh, why is Twitch like that? But you know, it's the same dilemma as sports gamers. They keep saying that uh sports games suck and they don't evolve, they don't innovate, but you guys keep buying it. So what's their incentive to do, you know, what's their incentive to make the game better? It's the same thing. It's like people complaining why Twitch sucks, Twitch is BS, blah blah blah. Then if it's really that atrocious, really that bad, then you move to Kick, move to YouTube. Not even restream, just live stream elsewhere or restream elsewhere except Twitch. And like I know like there's downsides to streaming here. Like you can't say particular words or they're very case sensitive or copyright sensitive. But you know, if you really want to make a stand against the double standards of Twitch, you know, I think in mass numbers, which it won't happen. You know, this is just my opinion. People got to stop using Twitch altogether. But yeah, again, it's not gonna happen because like it's the same thing. Once Asmongold is, I don't know if this is a permaban. I don't think so. Um, it says in Pegasus's thumbnail permaban, but I don't think so. If he does come back, he'll just continue live streaming until he gets banned again, and then we're gonna talk about this again. But to me, like you know, if you want actual change, you need to stop using. I stopped using Twitch already. I used to watch people there, but then I veered off and I stopped watching them. So I don't really use Twitch at all anymore. So okay, I don't know the full reason, so I'll listen to Asmongold on what he has to say.
Hey guys, it's me again. And usually at this point, I've already made like 2 or 3 other videos about why I got suspended on Twitch, and I've been farming this a lot. But unfortunately, something that has nothing to do with Twitch at all actually took precedence over this, and that's why I haven't really made any comments or said anything on anywhere about any of this. And so first part of this video is going to be talking about that. And then the second part is going to be talking about the Twitch suspension. I got suspended for 2 weeks. I'll probably try to appeal it, see if I can get it down to a week. We don't really know. If not, maybe I'll stream on Kick or something. Maybe I'll just take a vacation.
That's the thing. Like someone as influential as Asmongold, you don't have to be on Twitch anymore. And that's really how I see it. You just go to Kick. Yeah, I think Kick is the next best thing for him, given Kick is not as case sensitive or copyright sensitive as YouTube. So I don't know. I would say just move to Kick. That's just me, but he'll probably go back to Twitch immediately as soon as he's unbanned.
I'm not really sure. I haven't decided yet. But anyway, that's the TLDR. So about 3 or 4 days ago, because the day that I got suspended, I actually didn't even go live. Now, why is that? Well, it's because the day before that, I had a health symptom that was identical to my dad's health symptom before he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. So this, I got really upset. I was freaking out. And so I'm laying in bed. I'm fucking petrified. I am like panicked. I'm looking things up online. Sure. I'm messaging people. I eventually go to the emergency room and I go through all of this. And I don't want to get into the details of what the symptoms were or anything, because honestly, it's kind of gross. But all you need to know is that that's pretty much what happened. And so I fell asleep on the futon over there, and I wake up, and this is like the day I got suspended, and I had been like, at this point, I
haven't noticed. He kind of I don't. Is this his room, or is this he really fixed his room ever since he got in with that OnlyFans chick? Huh? This looks really clean. I just noticed just now.
I had not been on my computer at all in like 24 hours, right? Because I was so stressed out and upset about this. All I could do was just lay down, and I didn't know, like, am I dying? Is there something wrong with me, right? And so I look at, and I see the reflection. Like this is just stupid, but like I can see the reflection of this monitor from this monitor, and I can kind of see, like, are there new messages? And I saw that there was like a post about like a tweet, and I'm like, I just had a feeling that I was getting suspended, right? I just had a feeling, and I looked and I got suspended, and I was like, this is the first time I got on the computer. I'm like, well, how long is it? I said 14 days. I said, thank God, right? Thank God. Now I'm gonna have 2 weeks to deal with this problem, right? So and honestly, that's the way that I felt. Like, I wasn't really even stressed out or upset about it. I'm still really not. I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, Twitch is fucking retarded, and what do you expect, right? But anyway, so all this happens, and I immediately just got off the computer. I didn't really think about it, honestly. So because I was so worried about this health problem, then fast forward to the following day, I talked to some couple of people that I know that I could ask about this, and I get one person. I go and I finally go to the emergency room after talking to one doctor, and they looked at everything. They basically said, calm down, retard, it's okay. And I'm okay. I'm okay. Especially this morning, these symptoms have totally gone away. If you want me to be honest, like just completely, like 100%, like just transparent, I'm still worried. I am. I'm 36 years old.
Yeah, it's like if it's like something happened to an immediate family member, and you feel that the symptoms are happening to you too. Yeah, especially it's very recent, right? His dad passed away. So yeah, I would absolutely be panicking too if that happened to me. It's like, oh shit, I gotta go to the hospital as soon as possible to, I need to get ahead of it as much as possible. So yeah, definitely understandable.
I have had really no health problems ever in my entire life other than my teeth. And I see all my friends that are like, now they have this issue, now they have that issue. And it's like, when is it going to be time? My mom used to always say, and this would always upset me, but it's true, something's going to take you home, right? And it does really scare me a lot. And I, like a lot of times I like to think of myself as being above that, right? But whenever you're faced with it, I realized that I was very much below it. I was extremely scared. I was very upset, and I was really worried. And so I've been dealing with that for the past about 3 or 4 days. And now that it's at least partially resolved, I'm probably going to get a follow-up appointment and have, like a bit more like testing done about this to make sure that I'm okay. But otherwise, like that's pretty much the reason why I didn't make any comments about it. I was just so preoccupied with that, like I just didn't really even give a fuck about Twitch, right? I mean,
exactly. I think at this point he's just so used to it, and it's like, which kind of drives my point even more. Like, it's better to just, can you guys just not use it anymore? Like, just stop using it. It's like, it's clearly, the bias is clearly there, and the lefties are clearly running the asylum. That's how I see it. It's like, it's like whatever like dialogue you're hoping to achieve, it's not really gonna happen unless there's a major management shakedown or like a major acquisition that takes place. Kind of like I saw Elon like tweeting about this. So people are saying, open your wallet again, Elon, and get Twitch. But I doubt it, because like I think Twitch is a much bigger entity owned by Amazon. So, and like there's no incentive for Elon to do it, in my opinion, because like Twitch has been a loss leader for the longest time. So I don't think Twitch has ever turned in a profit ever in its history, and for Amazon. So it's not a winning battle. Like, unless Elon just wants to do it for the sake of, for the justice of it all. But I doubt, given how much it's gonna cost.
It's funny how, you can have something that's like, one of the biggest parts of your life, which is like my stream, and then like something else can happen, and it's like the other thing just doesn't even exist anymore, right? It's a very, very weird paradox of life. But anyway, so that's pretty much what happened with me, a couple of days ago and a few days ago. That's why I even taken a day off that day. And so, this happens, and I'm like, oh, wow, I'm such a relief. Now I don't have to feel bad about not going live, right? And so anyway, I got suspended for 14 days. That's what happened. Again, wow, a 36-year-old man has a health scare. This has never happened before in the history of humanity. But yeah, that's pretty much what it was. So anyway, the second part is going to be about why I got suspended. So I got suspended because, and just to add some context, because it's been very editorialized on the on Twitter and everything like this. But basically what I said was that, so Ceuta, which is, and a little bit of geography here. So Spain is like on the top of the Mediterranean Sea. Strait of Gibraltar is like right here, Spain, right? And so underneath that is Morocco. And in the very, very tip of Morocco, there's a city that's owned by Spain, and it's been owned by Spain for hundreds of years. This isn't like something that's new. This isn't like a recent occupation. This has been going on for like, since before like it's like the Ottoman Empire time days, right? I don't know. I remember reading the date that it happened, but it was like literally hundreds of years ago. So they've had this city, it's called Ceuta, for a long time. City has a population of about 80,000 people. And 40 to 60,000, obviously, just by the nature of this, it's not really verified how many. Random migrants just all came over in about basically one day's time into this small city. Now, this has, in my opinion, like in any other point in history, this would be viewed as a military invasion because, of course, the overwhelming majority of these people are military-age men. And so what I said is that I think that if you have that many people pouring over your border and you just can't deal with it all, like you can look at the footage of this and it literally looks like it's World War Z. It looks like a battlefield, right? It's like a hell on earth type situation. There's trash everywhere and everything. I think I'm straight up said I think you should shoot these people, right? I mean, like, I believe that. I do. I mean, this is a
that's the thing. He's not the only one who said that. Like, I know other content creators who said the same thing, and even more in specific. I don't know what he said particularly. I don't get to watch Asmon go live. He often goes live when I'm asleep, and I don't open Twitch anymore. So yeah, a lot of people said this. It's just that it's Asmon Gold. That's why. But even then, if Hassan said this, he'll be fine.
A violent military invasion into a city, and after they got into the city, obviously these people were smashing out windows. They were obviously breaking into stores, stealing things out of stores. I saw like one video. It's always hard to know like what's real and what's not, but I saw a video and it's like if you ever watch Troy, like whenever like a fucking Brad Pitt as Achilles like stabbed the dude in the neck at the beginning of the movie, that's like what happened. Like one of these like migrants seemingly stabbed the random citizen in the neck with this knife, right? And they killed this person, I'm assuming, right? Or at least they're in critical condition. So basically the city is being terrorized by a mass invasion of military-aged migrants that have come over for various different reasons. And people are saying that you couldn't do that because, well, there might be kids in the crowd. And my response to that is that you should shoot them anyway. You should do this anyway. And it doesn't matter really what the collateral damage is.
Let's obviously it's like if you can avoid casualties, but given that scenario, chat, let's visualize it. Like, there's a huge invading, illegal immigrants, about to step into your home. Like, if you ready the miniguns or whatever type of weapon, your weapon of choice, I think that what would happen is like they would, immediately disperse, at least run back. So that's how I see it. If the military tries that kind of response, and see if they try doing it again. Like, unfortunately there's gonna be a little bit of casualties if you do that. But the way I see it is the moment you do that, they immediately run back. Like they're not gonna try and cross because they know they're gonna be unalive. That's how I see what's gonna happen had they done that, and the city would have been safe, and they won't try to do it again. But yeah, it is what it is given the discourse and the way things work in the way you articulate these kinds of things. But yeah.
You should defend your borders, especially when you're being invaded by such a massive force of people. So this never really was a conversation about like, baseline immigration enforcement. It was never about like, using kids or anything like that. But the reality is that with a lot of these third world countries and a lot of their cultures in the world, if you use a Western frame of reference to look at the values and the morality of the third world people like this, you're going to render yourself blind. You will not understand their theory of mind. They don't look at things the way that you do. That's why Joseph Kony has his child army, and there was Kony 2012 and everything. That never really went away, by the way. It's still happening. It might not be necessarily him, but there's other ones that are just as bad, if not worse. So the problem is that a lot of Westerners' morality is built off of the concept that everybody else thinks the way that we do. And unfortunately, that's not the reality.
Yep.
And so what these people will do is that they will bring kids with them, and they will use these kids as effectively human shields in order to invade the country and then take advantage of the people in the country. I view this a lot like a trolley problem. And so the reason what I mean by that is that basically you're choosing to stop the invaders here rather than creating a reward structure and an incentive structure around using kids, trafficking children.
Yeah,
And
like I'm at the perspective that if they resort to doing that, like like again going back to my logic or simulated scenarios, like it's like the moment the bullets start getting unleashed, they're gonna reverse immediately. All the entire wave is gonna disperse and run the opposite direction. That's how I see it. So at most, if in that scenario, there are gonna be a couple of deaths, but at least in the long run, it's gonna be beneficial on both sides. That's how I. No more invasion, and at the same time, the people in the city are safe. That's my perspective. I know it's a pretty brutal perspective, and it wouldn't surprise me if this if I do get selected. But I think that's you really have to respond on, like, as a military, you're responsible of protecting the people and the people you're supposed to protect, and this invasion kind of did otherwise. I think that's how I see it.
effectively using them as political capital to fulfill an invasion's goal, which is to effectively take over this country. We're not take it over, right? But like, invade the city and then use the city as a way to get into mainland Spain and then disperse themselves all over Europe. This is, I think, a very bad thing, and I think it should be stopped by any means necessary. I think this is a horrible problem. A lot of the people that are coming over there, many of them could be criminals. We have no idea. People said Morocco emptied their prisons and let those people come over. I have no idea if they did that or not. I would assume many cases they did. That's what Russia's done apparently with Ukraine. And so I don't really think this is the first time this has ever happened. There's many precedents for this. A lot of people look at this from the perspective of human rights or something like this. And I find this to be one of the most malignant and pernicious abuses and inversions of morality that we have nowadays. And I'll explain why. Never once have I ever heard about the human rights or the privileges or, what's the right thing to do for all of the people in the city who are now having to be terrified in their homes, boarding their houses up.
Yep.
You have these migrants banging on their doors, smashing their windows, destroying their businesses, potentially violating them, attacking them, and doing whatever they can to these people. Not once in my entire life have I ever heard about the concept of their human rights. I never hear about the people who have been the victims of these policies and this lax enforcement, whose lives have been effectively destroyed. And then for some reason, we never think about them. We don't care about them. The only people that we care about are these invaders that are going around trying to take advantage of the country. And I think this is a profound inversion of morality. I don't think that any country has an obligation to take in migrants. I don't think any country has an obligation.
That's why it used to be really stringent, right? Like if you want to migrate to the US or any other first world or developed country. That's the reason why those systems were in place, at least back then, or at least the implementation of it back then, right? It's like you want to make sure whoever's coming in who wants to be part of that country or part of that society is productive and is not going to commit any crimes, is actually a net positive for the country or said society. That's the reason why these things are in place. That's the reason why it used to be very strict back then. It will take maybe 10 years, if I'm not mistaken, for you to have a chance to be able to migrate to said developed country, or maybe not as long. I don't know. I think it's a case to case basis per person, but yeah, there's a reason why those are put into place. Like to keep that society. Well, back then it used to be where if you wanted a society that's going forward, more modernized, cleaner streets, better environment, blah blah blah. But nowadays, like, yeah, it's being compromised by these people with misguided morality being put into these positions of power to enable these people to come in. And yeah, it's I don't know what's going on with the EU ever since this incident. I know Trump made some political moves to get the EU to shape up and to to open their eyes and stuff like that. But I haven't keeping myself up to date with that stuff. But that's really the way it should have been, and it really shouldn't have been diverted in any way. And look what's happening now to a lot of first world countries, even Japan, right? Even Japan is going through this, not this severe, but they kind of are because of the same type of leadership.
obligation to let people invade their borders. And I think that at the capacity that was happening with Cuba, I do think that you should use lethal military force to repel a literal fucking invasion. Keep in mind, this is a city of 80,000 people, and 40 to 60,000 additional people tried to come in one day. That's an invasion, and I think they should use guns to stop it. And I'm not sorry for saying that. And it doesn't matter what you try to use as, emotional blackmail or something like that. Fundamentally, all of these different tools that these people use will never actually be applied in a universal way. These are the same people whose ideology leads them to thinking that 6-year-olds can transition to another gender. Yeah. They're the ones that lead themselves to, defending Hamas and terrorist propaganda, because terrorists like to use kids as human shields as well, because they like to shoot rockets from schools. The reason why they do that is because there is a reward structure inside of our society that puts the damaging and the harm to children and women at a higher standard than the harm to like a military-aged man. Yeah, now, in a general sense, I would agree with that in a peacetime reality. But whenever these people are launching rockets and large-scale invasions, I think that you need to look at this as a wartime event. And
yeah, I agree with that. Definitely, the context changes when it's in an invasion perspective. Like, I think you need to, that hierarchy of priority needs to be scrapped entirely if it's an invasion. Like, a part of this, I believe, is because like we've been living in, well, most of the world anyway. Most of the world has been living in peace for the longest time. That I think a lot of people lost sight of that urgency. Like, it's like, hey, there's an invading force outside of the country. Like, I think most people in the military now never really experienced wartime per se, unlike the people back in World War I, to World War II, and stuff like that. So it's like they don't see the context that Asmongold's bringing up here, where it's like, your country's under threat. Like it's on the verge of like collapse or complete cultural change, and not in a good way because of these people. So at that point, I think you shouldn't be, because, what about the children? What about the women? At that point, do what you got to do to preserve your culture, preserve your society. That's how I see it too.
I would ask yourself, how many people got killed in World War II? How many people get killed in every single war? Civilian casualties and killing anybody who's not a combatant is a tragedy. It's a horrible thing to have happen. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that you're not allowed to have borders. And it doesn't mean that you can't make decisions to protect your own people, even if it comes at the expense of other people that are trying to do this in bad faith and use this. And by the way, the usage of people like this as human shields is a war crime in itself.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the biggest issue that I have with a lot of these people that are criticizing this, is that I don't think that they really care about these kids. They don't give a shit about them. Like, these are the people, they'll bring kids to an ICE protest. Why would you bring a kid to a protest where there's rioting and there's flashbang grenades and tear gas being set off? And the truth is, and there is a reason for it, the reason why they do that is because they want to use these kids and the harm that these kids will inevitably go through because of collateral damage, and they want to use this as a political tool so they can advance their agenda. These people they're sick. They're sick, evil people. And I also referred to the people that use the human shields as animals. Yeah, that's exactly what I think. I think they're fucking animals. If you use children as human shields in order for you to invade a country or in order for you to do terrorist attacks, I think that you're a fucking animal. And I'm not sorry for it. And I honestly think that most people agree with me. I think that almost everybody does.
Yeah, the silent majority does. It's just that, it's the other side that's very noisy on social media and online. That's usually the case for these types of things. Yeah.
But unfortunately, we've had this inversion of morality where these truly evil, malignant, pernicious people have been allowed to use this fake moral authority that they have to dictate that we have to allow terrorism, violence, and complete societal collapse. And if we don't allow this, somehow we're the ones that are evil. I reject this completely. And I understand that in doing so, there might be some people, this isn't a very comfortable thing to say. It's not a very polite thing to say. This isn't something that you'd read on a bumper sticker. But I think this is the nature of the world, and it's the nature of the reality that we live in. And I don't want to use a bunch of euphemisms and other types of vague and pacified language to discuss this in a way that is not authentic to its true harm and its true existence, which is what I think that's what it is. And I think that there are definitely criticisms people have of me that are valid, where like I probably do dial it up a little bit too much, and maybe I could use different rhetoric, etc. But I want to let you know.
I think that's more of like that's what happens when you like, let's say if I end up being a full-time streamer, right? And I go live like, like 12 to 15 hours a day or maybe more. Like at some point, you're going to be mentally exhausted and physically exhausted or emotionally exhausted if you do it on a literally on a daily basis, to the point where you won't have time to self-contemplate or to reflect anymore. That you'll end up saying stuff that you never really meant or you didn't really think things through. Like I can see I think that's what happens sometimes to people like Asmongold, who goes live for a very, very long time and on a regular basis. Like I can see it happening to myself. Like I can imagine myself doing live streaming like this for like 20 hours or a day every day. Like at some point you're gonna wear out and I'm gonna say something stupid. Such is the nature of this type of stuff.
Know that I apologize for nothing. I meant exactly what I said, and I think that these borders should be defended with lethal force whenever it's being invaded by 40 to 60,000 people at the same time. That's an incredibly dangerous thing for all the people that live in that country, and I don't think that a government has an obligation to allow a bunch of invaders to pour over and potentially kill their own citizens. I find this to just be horrible, and ultimately it should be stopped. Also, there are a lot of other patterns. Like I'll give another parallel to this as well, is that in a lot of gang culture, what they do, and this is, of course, nothing like this is a monolith, but many of people like this, what they do is they'll use children to commit crimes because they know the children will not be sentenced in the same way that an adult will do. And what my biggest argument for all of this is that I generally, and I know people might not believe this, I think most people do believe this, but the people that don't like me don't believe this or they don't want to, is that I think that I really do have the most moral and ethical position on this. Yeah. Because the moment that you create an incentive, you also drive a behavior. And in my opinion, if you don't capitulate to this emotional blackmail, you also don't allow these people to target and victimize these children by using them as baggage and effectively shock troopers in order to accomplish a goal. So, for example, if these kids were being charged as adults, the entire tool that these people were using, these gangs were using of having children commit crimes on their behalf, this tool would effectively be rendered ineffective. But we don't want to do that because it makes people sad to put kids in jail. But from my perspective, the way that I see it is that it makes me sad to see kids that were abused, that are trafficked, and that are put into these situations because the people that are truly and profoundly evil, the people that know this, know that they can use these children because they can co-opt and use your morality against you so they can push their own evil designs. Yep. And I think that you do have to reject this in its entirety in order to have a society that isn't ruled by evil, inversion, and other types of just complete...
Here's the thing. I didn't watch the live stream. I didn't see the clip in particular and how he said this while he was live on Twitch, but I get the feeling he already said something similar. Maybe not in the same precise phrasing as he is now, or with more clarity. But if I watch that clip, I'm pretty sure I would arrive on that conclusion, and that's what he was trying to say. Which, again, it's Twitch. It's an ass platform. It's a shitty platform. Is all I have to say.
Horrible people, and ultimately you do have to sometimes make hard decisions like that, but ultimately making a hard decision like that should never have... that's my alarm. I was supposed to get up. It's 2:46 p.m. and so excuse me on that. You do have to make these hard decisions. You do have to do things that are obviously, sometimes not the nicest things in the world, but I think that in order to do that, you do that in the goal to preserve a culture that is the best place that you want to live in the world as well. So that's the problem that I have. I don't think that I said anything wrong. I think that a lot of people actually would agree with me. And I think that the way that we've taken military action in the past, things like, for example, World War II, would indicate that actually this is not as much an objective reality that some people would make it out to be. And again, these are the same people that have no problem using children as props and having them, like groomed by adults, about their gender, taking them to ICE protests, putting them directly in danger because there are rioters and criminals and violence there. Who would ever bring a kid there? And these are the same people that are saying that I'm wrong for saying that creating an incentive for people to human traffic children and use them as human shields is a bad thing. And so I apologize for absolutely nothing. I said it in a very abrasive way, and I'm going to continue communicating that way. It's how I was raised. The reality is that, my dad.
Sometimes you have to say it that way to get your point across. Like having the peacekeeper tone or the passive tone all the time. It doesn't get across the same way as an abrasive way. So sometimes I do say or type it in such a way like that, because like sometimes apart from being emotionally high about it, it gets across to people better. Like it's similar to comedy, right? Now we know comedy is watered down because oh, it's so hurtful, oh, it's so offensive, blah blah blah. But the point is, comedy old comedy used to be effective because of that. It's because it's another way of expressing or communicating that's effective and foreign to people, that in a way that, because it's foreign or it's a new way of getting receiving communication. That's when people realize the error of their ways, or as a learning experience over the traditional sermon or the traditional berating of people. Sometimes you just have to say it in another way for people to understand or get it. So yeah, I agree.
I was driving my dad to the hospital. He was like getting one of his cancer treatments. And he said, well, what's funny about this? And I said, what? And he says, well, now they can say you killed me too, just like they say you killed your mom. That's the way I grew up. That's the way I communicate. And that's the way I think. And I'm not sorry. And I understand that sometimes I use abrasive language. Sometimes I communicate in a way that's a little bit, harsh. And,
again, it's inevitable if you stream that frequently or you stream that long amount of time as a full-time content creator. If you stream that long and every day, you're going to say something like that eventually. That's, controversial or divisive and stuff like that. I can see myself saying stuff like that if I stream for that long, for sure. And I talk about it. And it's not just playing games. It's talking about heavy subjects like this. I can see myself saying, stupid shit or saying it in a really rough way, even though the intentions were good and stuff like that.
People can say I'm mean. They can say I'm evil. They can say everything, but they're not saying I'm wrong. And I think that ultimately we should look at a lot of these uncomfortable truths with a lot more of a clear mind, rather than allowing it to be polluted by people that I think want to hurt us, people that want to put us in a position that is not advantageous. And that's the reason why I communicate the way that I do. It is hopefully to normalize this type of language and for people to see things for what they are rather than what they want them to be. And I think that's for better and for worse. So that's the reason why I talk the way that I do. I'm not sorry. It's probably not going to stop. I might try to I'm going to try to obviously tone it down a little bit, because I don't want to get suspended all the time, right? Contrary to
that's the thing. It's like, how many times have you been suspended already? Like, to me, it's like, you're in a platform where the people managing it they don't see reason. They're not open to dialogue. So what do you do at that point? Like, it's like, maybe move elsewhere permanently and build that platform up. That's, for me, that's how I see it. Like, we've been shit talking about Twitch for how long now? We've been complaining about Twitch for how long now? It's like, they're not changing it at all. It's just if anything, it's getting worse and worse. So yeah, I don't know. It's like, I feel like I'm talking to the void making that point.
Popular belief. It's great to have a vacation, but I don't want to have them all the time. And so, that's pretty much where things stand. That's the way that I feel. That's my reasoning for it. I view it as a trolley problem, and I think it enables human trafficking the moment that you capitulate to that type of emotional blackmail. So that's really the way that I feel. And I know this might be a harsh opinion. It might not be something that everybody agrees with, but I think it is the ethically correct thing to do, given the implications of doing otherwise. So anyway, that's the way that I feel. Now, what's going to happen now? I'll probably file an appeal in a day or so. Hopefully, I can get unsuspended earlier. I don't really know. I'll probably I can try to like I
know,
would.
if someone from Twitch is watching this and they're responsible for banning him, they probably no. You're getting the full 14 days. You said you don't apologize. That's how I feel. I don't know. I don't know if how Twitch operates within like if they'll ease in the ban or if they'll extend it or they'll keep it the same. But if they see this, like he said, he explicitly said he's not apologizing for it, then as a Twitch woke representative, like okay, then you're if you're not sorry, then we're the 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 suspension continues or it stays effective. I think that's how they would think. That's how Twitch would think. But I could be wrong, given his size and the money that he brings on the platform.
Wish I could just talk to them. It's really funny. So like Twitch emails me and they say like, yeah, you had an accidental content violation because you accidentally showed something on your stream you shouldn't have showed. And like they sent me an email for this. So I said, I respond back. I'm like, oh yeah, my bad. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. And so then I get suspended for 2 weeks. No email. I don't have any email. So this is the funniest thing. By the way, I actually don't even know this is why I got banned. Twitch has never communicated to me what the thing is that I did wrong.
Yeah, that's a thing. Like that's even worse in my opinion. Like if they're like that already, or if they have been for the longest time, I know. You know, maybe it's time to actually make a stand financially against that platform. You know, it's like, yeah, it's like Asmongold, Tectone, or all the other big ones. Everyone in OTK complaining about Twitch. Maybe it's like do something more concrete, or that's something that has more impact, and actually, go. I would go to Kick, honestly. Just have them go to Kick. I think that's the ideal platform where they have the amount of freedom and they even make more money there if they build their brands there. They're already big to begin with, but like, yeah, like this platform is not going to change if you just complain. If you just say, oh, Twitch is bad, like nothing's going to happen.
That got me banned. I'm just guessing it's probably the thing that everybody was mad about, right? So I don't know. Maybe it's actually some other random clip that had nothing to do with this. But that's generally what my thinking on it is. Will I be back? Yeah, sure, I'll be back. It's been nice to have a little bit of a vacation. I've been stressed out about other like life stuff. I feel like I'm in kind of a position in my life now where it's like, what am I doing with my life? Where do I want to be in 5 or 10 years, right? It's like, kind of midlife crisis type stuff I'm dealing with. I don't talk about this a lot on stream because it's stupid, boring, and it's also, it's indulgent. And I don't want to treat my viewers like my own personal diary. But I have been going through my own personal issues as well, especially right after losing both my parents, and I'm living here by myself. And, it gives you a lot of questions for like what to do in life. And, I don't want to get too into that, but, just know that that's the backdrop for a lot of the ways that, like I'm dealing with things personally off stream. And so, yeah, and then all these things happen. I have this health scare and it's like, oh my God, this is, like, am I dying, right? Is this happening? And so that's really kind of why I haven't immediately responded. It had nothing to do really with Twitch at all. I was worried about something that was a lot more important. So anyway, guys, thank you all very much for watching. I'll be back really soon. I haven't really decided. Maybe I'll just come back and stream on Kick. I can just wait out the suspension. I don't really know.
Just stream on Kick and never go back to Twitch. Yeah, like yeah, it's like a part of me is like really sick of seeing like, oh, Twitch is so evil, Twitch is so bad, Twitch is such a double standard. We keep seeing it on X on a regular basis. But it's like if you really want change, then do something different. Like, what's the definition of insanity, right? Like you keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect a different outcome. It's like probably no, do something else, try something else.
I'll probably get a few other like real life weekly and monthly quests done, and just try to relax a little bit, which has been great. I slept for like 10 hours yesterday, so I'm in kind of good mood right now. And so yeah, anyway, that's pretty much what the plan is. And yeah, that's about all I've got. I'll be back, and yeah, see you next time. But anyway, guys, thanks a lot for watching and sticking around this long. Sorry it's such a long video. There's a lot to talk about and a lot that's happened. So yeah, that's the way I feel. That's where I'm at. That's what's going on. And I'll see you guys very soon. So until next time, boys. Peace. See ya.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty much like I already summarized everything he had to say with with regards to why he got banned. But yeah, that's how I feel. Like Twitch has been crappy for like who knows how long already. And the only way to really fix that is to, hit them where it hurts, the wallets. But like like the um like the PlayStation debacle with the physical games, like the sports games, like it's not gonna happen because like the overwhelming majority just simply doesn't care. And yeah, like you know, it is what it is, I suppose. But for me, it's like if you really want things to change to happen, it's always where the money is. It always is. Anyway, let me see chat. I think a lot of chat came up. Where did I stop? Shoot. Mm, okay, I think here banned from Twitch. He has to do a lot to get banned with Twitch. Yeah, I know, right? It's pretty. Yeah, it's very clear. They're playing favorites on who to ban and who not to ban. It's just if this wasn't Asmongold, if he wasn't as big, or if he's not, they don't bring in a lot of money at all, he would have been permanently banned by now. The CEO of Twitch is butt buddies with Hassan Piker. Yep, absolutely, and gives him light bans compared to other people. Yeah, I'm starting to think like his uncle or his mom and dad have like some sort of majority stakeholder shares on Twitch. I brought this up way back. I get the feeling that they have some sort of like large stake in Twitch as an entity. That's why they have to do this preferential treatment thing. A part of me thinks that way at least, or they're just simply lefties. Hamburger's terrible. Condies eat hamburger. Yeah, exactly. Such is the way of the world. Sadly, future king of Rumble. Hey, look, people have been saying I should post content on Rumble, but it's like I feel like Rumble. They say the same. They say things people want to hear every year, but they never really implement. Oh, like the algorithm is like set up is optimized based on viewer preferences or based on good content, but I don't believe it. I still believe they're like bot farming and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, I'm live on Rumble right now, but it's only because it's a restream, not because it's a main platform. One supposes that it comes down to the very nature of a private company. A private company can set ignore rules as it sees it. Yeah, that's true. And unfortunately, a platform like Twitch should be more on the neutral side. Like they're more, unless it's like, very, very severe, like people getting mutilated, stuff like that. Yeah, maybe that's a violation in itself. But when it comes to political spectrum, like if it's just mean words, and you should stay neutral as much as possible. But yeah, it's like I think it's given a fact. Look, I'll give Twitch this. Maybe it's because like their advertisers, like kind of like pressuring them to do it. But I think they take it too far. I think it's very clear that they have a preferential treatment on one side, which they shouldn't. Kick is out there. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's the platform for me that these people who talk, especially who talks about deep political topics. I think Kick is the best platform to do it, especially given what do you call this? Given how highly heated politics can be, and given like Kick is the most what do you call this? Commercially viable, and at the same time you're allowed to say what you want to say. And for me, in the long run, Kick is like, yeah, we all know that it came from stake.com or the gambling companies. But at the same time, the silver lining I see in that is that they don't have to adhere to advertisers as much because their revenue is from the gaming company head office. So if they don't want to listen to advertise and say, they can tell advertisers to fuck off. Asmongold made his money. Twitch needs him more than needs Twitch. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Asmongold doesn't need Twitch at all. And the way, as far as I know, he manages his money well. Heck, he was even featured in Caleb Hammer, right? Caleb Hammer audited him. It's like even Caleb said, "Dude, you're not spending you're not spending enough money." So it's like he's good. Like he can be banned for Twitch for the rest of his life. He'll be fine. He's good. He made his bag. For Twitch, the people are the product. It has to be careful to not drive the people away. But yeah, but I don't know. For me, a lot of people like Asmongold enough to the point where it's like I don't see people quitting Twitch entirely just because of Asmongold. Like if you don't like Asmongold, then you can block him from ever appearing in your feed. or you can always watch another streamer. So for me, it's like that's a healthier platform, provided it's not extreme, like kind of like stuff that Hassan says, people deserve 9/11, stuff like that. You should be fine. Whatever your political take is, provided it's not harmful to other people, not like not destructive in a way, or not low key implying the death of other people, then you should be good. A lack of border control leads to a lack of borders. A lack of border leads to a lack of nationhood. Yeah, exactly. That's what happened. And I think a factor of that is like we've lived in times of peace for such a long time that the people governing in the military side forgot what it's like. Forgot what it's like to lose your nation, or if your nation is under threat by invaders. Like they lost sight of it because of the modern day morality in media and in entertainment. Like they forgot what it's like for back in war times, what the sacrifices that you needed to do and the blood that needed to be on their hands to protect their country. That's what I feel is a factor on top of the continuous DEI churn out of content and uh mouthpiece. A country has a duty to protect its citizens from foreign invasion. Yeah, exactly. It's really that simple at the end of the day. And even Asmongold got banned because he said that. Yeah, he said it in an abrasive way. He admitted to that. But the underlying point stands. Like if there's an invasion, regardless if it's a military age man or if it's a housewife or if it's a kid, they're trying to cross the border. They crossed the line that they weren't supposed to cross. Then, yeah, suffer the consequences of that, or at least that's what's supposed to happen. More others, yep, exactly. It's the only duty that a government has. Yeah, that's true. Actually, if you look at if you see it in its simplest form, that's how you should be seeing it. It wants to do everything but that now. Yeah, true. I think like the people running, like they feel like, oh, I want to be the higher being or the better person. That's why I'm okay with people coming in, because like at the end of the day they're human beings too. But no, like I don't think even them, they realize what's going to happen in their way of life if you let all these people in. What's going to change and how it's going to affect even their family members. Like I think if it happens to their loved ones or their friends, then they'll change their tune. Like, oh shit, yeah, I shouldn't have let these people in. That's how I like. It's like an ivory tower situation where they don't see how it affects them until it actually happens. By then, it's too late. He's going scorched earth. Yeah, I think that's what happened. That's why it led to the suspension. You know, for me, it couldn't be anything else unless he said something more severe, which I doubt. But it is what it is. It's not massacre. He was talking about that. Yeah, that's the point I was saying earlier. Like, yeah, you have to unload the weaponry, unfortunately, in that situation. But my point is like the moment that you do, and they see the invaders, they see their fellow comrades falling to the ground, they'll immediately turn the opposite direction and run back, and they'll never do it again. So short-term sacrifice for long-term gain is how I see it. Like it was them who chose to violate the laws and chose to do what they did. So you have to suffer the consequences of that. The invasion caused real harm to some 80 something people. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hi, Blackhawk. Hope you're doing okay. The EU seemed more concerned that the people would come into Europe than it was about the harm being caused to Spain's colony. But yeah, it's like at least they're seeing the way I say. At least they're seeing it now on what can happen to EU if they continue to let up in this kind of political discourse or discussion or way of thinking. But I don't know if it's enough. I don't know if it's enough, or more countries in the EU have to experience the same thing before they open their eyes. But yeah, it's like at least for us, like Trump sees it, guys. You really need to solve this, or else your entire nation will be under threat if you continue to let this fester. And if it festers too much, you cannot turn back. You cannot go back the moment it does. They do want to abuse these foreign children. You know what the elites do in secret. Yeah. And like as Asmongold said, like, they even in the military side, like if I was in the military side doing the actual thing, it's like, shoot, I can see children down there. It's like I would hold back too, and it's very malicious in my opinion. It's like very demonic. I would go as far as to say that you would do something like that just so you could, for your own selfish gain. Heavy topic going. Yeah, I started with this is the only non-gaming topic I have for today. I only have a few. I don't want to go 4 to 5 hours. I didn't want to take it too long again this time. Now that I'm on my own again for this week. This is the only heavy-ish one. The rest is more of gaming stuff. The turtle style of living in the turtle. Yeah, that's understandable. That I can see that. It's now wanting to come to the first world by any means. Yeah, that I can see that, but at the same time, as people from the first world, they need to stop people from coming in who are a net negative for society. So, yeah, I in an ideal world, we want everyone to be happy and to be fulfilled, but it's we're not in that ideal world. So, people in the first world, like who are in the border, in the military, it's their duty to make sure that whoever's coming in is like a productive citizen, who can elevate society better. Like if like a scientist or an engineer who developed new technology or made new discoveries that can help society at large, then yeah, let those people in without any crime record and stuff like that. Then yeah, if it's just some random beggar, random hobo who has numerous crimes, why let them in to begin with? It's crazy. It really is. Yeah, man, countries need to start enforcing borders and use force if necessary. Yeah, it's so easy and so basic, but it's it's so much layers of complexity and um self-serving gains that dilute the discussion. Unfortunately, the to them morality is not hurting anyone's feeling. Yeah, exactly, and uh that's who are in power in a lot of the Western world. Unfortunately, it's like I said, a part of why they forgot is a part of that is they forgot what it's like to be at times of war or times of hardship. We've been at peace for such a long time that I think a lot of people forgot that they started to think, oh, we need to think bigger, we need to be the better person and actually let people in as much as possible. That's what it's come to because of such of these times of peace and arguably prosperity for a lot of people. Human rights is a two-way street. Yeah, exactly. If you violate someone else's, then you forfeit yours. That's for me. That's how I see it. But it's not the way the world works now at present. I love the Independence Day scene. These leftists would be those people welcome. Yeah, the one that Phil showed. Yeah, yeah. It's pretty much 1-to-1 minus the fictionalized alien spaceship and all that. But that's basically what's happening right now. And they wonder why we believe in the great replacement. Yeah, it's looking more for reality. Maybe 20 years ago, it's just a conspiracy theory, but it's looking more and more for reality by the day. He says an inconvenient truth and gets banned. That's how Twitch is backwards. Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's like I'll continue to keep saying like the best way to combat Twitch is to stop using it. But until then, until like it's just limited to complaining and then going back right away to just use the platform anyway. They have no incentive to change. They don't. Some people want to migrate to have part of the security and prosperity of the new country, but do not want to be part of its culture. Yep, exactly. And like, yeah, it's again, it's purely for selfish reasons. Like, the criminals just want to get there to enrich themselves and do horrible things to people, to other people. And yeah, it's like that's why the filtering process is in place. It used immigration used to be a strict standard, whether you're eligible to move to another country or not. But now it's like you can just cross the border and you'll be fine. Japan is having issues and it realized. I hope so. I hope the parliament does, because like the way I see it at the start, like when I saw like those vending machines getting destroyed and Japan starting to get polluted, it's like I think the parliament bamboozled the people. Like they said one thing while during elections, and then they did the exact opposite the moment they got elected. So I don't know if they're like starting to see, oh shit, maybe I should have followed through what I said earlier in the elections. I hope I really do. I hope they do that. All started in the Arab Spring in 2012. Yeah, I believe so. I believe it started permeating 2012, and then it got worse and worse until we reached this point. Yeah, it was slowly creeping in to our media and entertainment. I'm glad it's such. Yeah, I hope so too. And I don't know what's gonna happen if a Twitch representative sees that video. Are they like gonna extend this banning, or like they're just, or like will they still downgrade this banning? I don't know, but yeah, it's Twitch is like a cesspool, in my opinion. Okay. Any reason info on why he's banned? It's he's not sure if that was the reason, but in my opinion, that was very likely the reason, given the favoritism that Twitch implements to their content creators. I'm pretty sure, unless he said something more controversial that I missed, I'm pretty sure that was the reason. Children are used as pawns. Yeah, it's pretty disgusting. Made a comment on Leaflet and Emerald Apple's post. These people do not follow the Geneva Convention, and these tactics are very immoral. Yeah, exactly. And for me, it's as simple as at that point, you know, then you might as well do what you got to do to implement yours if they don't want to follow the rules. Fuck feel good politics. It's time to be honest with ourselves and what's happening to our culture. Yeah, exactly. It's like, I think, the saying like tough times build strong men, and peaceful times build weak ones. I think that's what happened in a political discussion sphere, in a political governance sphere. It didn't affect the soldiers in a physically fit wartime capacity, but I think it affected the emotional and mental way of thinking of people in office. And that's how where we are today. It's like people have gone too soft. An effective tactic is to overwhelm your opponent with sheer numbers and to defeat your opponent with least amount of casualties possible. Yeah, it's like, in that situation last week, you gotta unleash the weaponry if you have to protect your people. But yeah, that's not what happened. It's called child criminal exploitation. Yep, absolutely. Okay, let's see. Grae talks softly and carries a big stick. I don't know. You be the judge of that. Uh, he is a self-made billionaire, has a unique perspective, and does not let money corrupt him. Yeah, exactly. Like not. I wish all self-made millionaire become like that, but I don't know. A lot of them eventually turn into left-leaning, which I think it's because they feel more secluded and like have this way of thinking, like where do I go next, and like they feel like, oh, how can I be more philanthropic with my millions/billions, and they end up arriving at that conclusion. Oh, I have to think bigger. I have to think. I have to be the better person, and that's the conclusion they arrive. Like they suddenly become pro mass illegal immigration and stuff like that. I think it's because of extreme isolation for a lot of these millionaires, and I'm glad Asmongold is not one of them. I'm not sure what this is, but anyway, but yeah, when Grae talks about going wild, we better listen. His people invented the concept of running amok. Maybe. Faithful are the words of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. Proverbs 27:6. Yeah, exactly. That's they're spinning the words to support their narrative, but they have ill intentions, or they have selfish intentions at the end of the day. Uh it's better to tell people the harsh truth than placate them with sweet deception. And that's what Twitch banned Asmongold for. Sure, he said it in an abrasive way, and maybe in a very strong way that offends a lot of people. But you gotta say what you gotta say for the greater good, and that's what he kind of elaborated on in this video. Getting close to part where Kirsha needed to go pee because she was drinking plenty of water during her stream earlier. Yeah, that's my dilemma. It's like whenever I drink water right now, like I'm really thirsty because of talking so much, but if I drink a lot, I have to go pee. So you have to balance it out as a content creator. Roach King is GOAT. Yep, that's true. Like, yeah, he has some takes that I don't agree with, like UBI, as far as I'm concerned. Like, UBI will work in an ideal world if everyone in society is productive and in a high trust society, but not the world we live in. I don't want to promote YouTube's behavior. That's why I don't give any money to Phil. It- yeah, it's YouTube has its own flaws, but at least YouTube I see is more reasonable. Like I get it, they're so big right now that they have to adhere to a lot of the requirements of these ad agencies or these companies that want to advertise in their platform. At least they try to balance it out compared to Twitch, where I feel Twitch is more brazen in their in their personal biases. Dan Clancy doesn't. He still does. He still does. As unless there's news that I missed. As far as I know, he does. Oh, SED. Thank you for the 5. Hail, chat, and Grae. T minus 6-ish weeks until the Great Yellow Nug off. How goes the preparation? Yeah, it's okay. It's still ways off, but I've been eating less, or at least I think I've been eating less. Yeah, I still I have to be more fit for my uncle's wedding, which is about a month from now. So after that, then it's gonna the nugget eating showdown. It'll be fun. It'll be great. It'll be very fun for you guys for sure. Yeah, thank you for the 5. Whenever I type Rumble on the video on Rumble, the video window shrinks. I use a tablet to watch streams now, so I have to resize it periodically. Yeah, the interface of Rumble, it's like for me, it's like it's too dated. They need to overhaul it. Like, yeah, that's another thing they've been saying. I believe like Rumble is oh yeah, we're listening to your feedback. We're listening to your feedback. We'll improve everything you want to say, but they never do, which is why I'm not a staunch supporter for Rumble because they don't really do anything. They don't really change their platform for the better. Save recruiting expensive content creators that don't really do anything. Like what happened to the Doctor Disrespect contract? Nothing happened. Rumble still has they still have the same market share in terms of streaming platform. Twitch is important as that is where Asmon can spread his influence and truth to newer generations. I suppose, but I think like his YouTube does that already. Like his YouTube often gets millions and millions of views, and I feel like YouTube is the much bigger platform anyway compared to Twitch. At least that's how I see it. Like, if I'm more in the side of I want Twitch to change for the better first, then he can come back, rather than leaving Twitch as it is on their own personal biases. Ask the American Indian how a lack of border control works out in the long run. Yeah, I can see, it's like it's the same thing with COVID for us, like for agents, right? I was isolated here in my room, arguably up to now, like when that happened. I know agents got a lot of hate during at the height of COVID. Like I remember I used to watch Uncle Roger when he became super popular during that time with the rice, with the how Hersha was cooking rice. In his later videos, he showed himself he has an injury in his lip because someone punched him simply because he was Asian. So yeah, it's real. Like if something catastrophic happens to the world and it's attributed to a particular country, the race in that country will experience a lot of racism for a good time being. Hence the Stop Asian Hate quote that we used to have or still have. If you trespass on a military base, they have the right to shoot you dead then and there. Yeah, exactly. It's that simple. Like, it's really you don't really need to go beyond that. There's no deeper nuance beyond that. There will be signs warning you and other deterrences before it gets to that point. Yeah, exactly. Like those people knew what they were doing when they were crossing that border. And hello, hi, Anthony Buck. Hope you're doing okay. When it comes to borders, the Philippines has to deal with harassment in Western Philippines Sea from Chinese ships. Use high pressure water cannons on merchant fishing boats. Yeah, that's been a problem for the longest time. But the reality is China's just simply the more powerful country. And it's, as far as I know, it's not only us that's dealing with it. Taiwan, Japan, all the other Asian countries have to deal with them too. It's a problem that will, for me, it'll be immortalized. It's an immortalized problem. Unless China decides to invade all these other countries. Yeah. But yeah, it's always good. For me, that border problem is always going to be there local wise. And it's, just deal with it. At the end of the day, I think those fishermen can still fish anyway. Just that they couldn't fish as more as they could have. But yeah, what can they do? It's rare for new people to adhere to an old culture, but yeah, I hope it doesn't. We don't have to take drastic measures for realization to take place. Hard times make hard men make good times make soft men make hard times. So yeah, that's a good summary of it, milk toast. And that's unfortunately we're at the latter half. We are. Did you kill Phil? Maybe I hijacked Project Eggroll for myself. Why do you need to be fit for your uncle's wedding? You're not the one getting married. It's more of like an Asian sensitivity thing. I'm more like I don't give a crap about what people have to say. But my mom does, my other people do. So I only see them 1 to 3 times a year. So I might as well. I always think of it that way. Fine, I'll adjust. It's only for a day. Then the rest of the year is mine for me to not give a fuck about. I got an email from Kick that I can stream directly from the web browser. Now, I didn't not tried it out, but sounds like a good idea. I can stream directly from the web browser. Like, you mean you've been using stuff like StreamYard? Because like, yeah, I know you can stream directly from OBS on Kick, which I plan to do when I start playing Fortune's Weave. Which I'll be what do you call this? I watched the direct already, but I'll be reacting to Fortune's Weave direct as a finale for the stream. Because I have stuff to say about it. Stop Asian hate was their attempt to bring a BLM like organization to issue. Yeah, for sure. It didn't work because most Asians living in America aren't ghetto and respect the law. Yeah, that's true. That is, as an Asian myself, yeah, I have that bias, but yeah, they really do. Most of them really do. Like the Asians that don't, it's usually because they fell into the wrong crowd. I look Asian. Yeah, maybe, but I'm a full-blooded American. Just kidding. Yeah. Phil shacked up with Harambe in Las Vegas hotel room. Yeah, he did. He told me, Grae, I'm exhausted with Harambe last night. I can't go live, so you go on your own this week. But the real reason is his wife underwent surgery, so he has to take care of her for the week. So I'm in charge for this week on my own. I have never streamed on Kick, only Twitch with OBS. Yeah, you can also do the same with Kick. It's just that the last time I tried it, it wasn't as intuitive, but maybe it's better now. But it's doable. It's doable. You just create another profile. So like if you don't want to touch your Twitch account, if you don't want to mess with your Twitch settings, just make another profile that's exclusively for your Kick. That's what I do for my OBS. Like one OBS is for my JRPG channel, the other is for Project Eggroll videos, and another one is for live streaming. So that way, it's easy for me to just change settings whenever, depending on the content I'm making or I'm about to make. That direct was fire. It's good, but I have my issues with it. I'll say later. I'll share later if you're still here, Rapnet. I'll share my thoughts on the Fortune's Weave direct. Ray's family is trying to get him hooked up with a girl. Yeah, they are. They low key are. Yeah, just that I'm the kind of guy who doesn't really give a crap. The email made it sound like I was in a pilot program or something, but I just have a Kick. Yeah, maybe it's just Kick trying to bring in more people to make content exclusively on the platform. Okay. Anyway, so that's it with the heavy stuff. That's it with the heavy / political stuff. So for the next thing I want to talk about is I wanted to make a video about this, but
terribly. And yes, I feel like I start every video talking about this game with the same line, but it's true. For a game that cost upwards of a legend.
It's playing. My bad. Halo is what do you call this? Halo campaign evolved. It's like I haven't been what do you call this? I've been pretty vocal on it on the X account where it's like it's shitty, it's dog shit. Where I think everyone already highlighted the key points on why it sucks. On top of the DEI woke character Williams, I think for me the level design is like in that particular bonus 3 levels, like it looked like Avowed it looked like Avowed. Those 3 levels and like they changed the writing for the worse. They made the cinematics feel like are super slow and not snappy and doesn't land the same as before. And they made Cortana ugly. Well, it's already been done to death in social media and on YouTube. And they made her more snarky too. Like I just did, I couldn't muster the energy anymore to make a video. And the video I want to make right now is for Dragon Sword. I've been playing a lot of Dragon Sword last night. I started playing Dragon Sword last night, and it's pretty good on top of the swimsuits. But yeah, anyway, so there's this news that came up earlier this week where people have been laid off, but there's some clarification that came up where it's only because the ones that were let go were contractors and their contract expired, which makes sense in my opinion. But despite that news, in my personal opinion, they're gonna end up laying off more full-time people, given the performance of Halo Campaign Evolved, which is on the screen right now with Smash JT. So shout out to I haven't been sharing the links. Shoot, I should be sharing the links. Shout out to Smash JT for this video. So he's doing an analysis of the layoffs and the performance of Campaign Evolved. But yeah, in my opinion, that may be true that only the contractors were laid off because their contract expired. But given how bad that the performance is for Halo Campaign Evolved, this is terrible. For a Halo game, this is bad. Okay, Halo is like the pioneer of competitive FPS long before Call of Duty became a thing. So if the performance of Halo Campaign Evolved is this bad, and also as bad or if not worse on PS5, then I don't see how I can see Asha doing more cuts to cut costs given its horrible performance, and expectations were really high for this. Like I was anticipating it. I was thinking like a part of me thought that a half of me thought that it's like this is already an established game. They just need to tweak the graphics and make it fun to play, which it is. Don't get me, it is, but they did some changes that I didn't like, and like especially the new missions. They introduced they brought a new weapon from the newer Halo games. It's called the Needler rifle. For me, it's too powerful. Like they clearly didn't playtest the new missions where you can easily kill opponents in like 3 shots of it, and it's abundant. It's all throughout the level. You can get the Needler rifle all throughout the level. But anyway, yeah, I have plenty of issues with the game. I just couldn't. I didn't have the energy to make a video shitting on the game. But because everybody brought it up already, and like, I'm tired talking about bad games per se. Anyway, so yeah, my opinion is like, even though the firing of people, it's only contractors. It wouldn't surprise me if full-time employees from Halo Studios are getting fired too. So okay, without further ado, let's watch Smash GT.
Halo Campaign Evolved is performing terribly. And yes, I feel like I start every video talking about this game with the same line, but it's true. For a game that cost upwards of, allegedly, some estimate around 100 million. I'm saying probably far more than that. We don't have any hard numbers on it, but we'll go with the estimates of around $100 million. Just came out last week. And yes, I understand it's a single player campaign game. Understanding all that, no multi.
Yeah, that's the thing. Okay, I forgot to say that. That's the thing. It's such a hard sell for people, in my opinion. Like, why would you get this for $50 if you can get the Master Chief Collection for $10? And the Master Chief Collection confers of the first Halo remake, Halo Reach, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 3 ODST, and Halo 4. And all those, well, the ones with multiplayer, which is the majority, all of them come with multiplayer, and they're selling this for $50, and it's just a campaign. Like, it's a hard sell. It is.
Multiplayer aspect to it at all. On a Friday night, August 7th, 2026, at just past 9 p.m. Pacific time, there's under 6,000 concurrent players on Steam playing this game. Under 6,000. So no matter how you slice it, yes, I understand it's on Game Pass and it's on consoles and it's even on PlayStation. I get all that. But so was Forza. So Forza was on Game Pass. It was on Xbox. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of concurrent all-time peaks. This one, 6,000 right now with an all-time peak of 25,000. And especially, here's the craziest part, compared to Halo Master Chief Collection,
there we go.
which has now...
Oh, yeah, that's brutal. That's the fact that Master Chief Collection is doing better. Yeah, like this game has been out for 6.7 years, maybe even longer. That's brutal. That's terrible. The fact that more people are playing Master Chief Collection than Halo Campaign Evolved. That's very, very bad. So, like, again, like the way I see the numbers right now, they're gonna lay off more people, not just the contractors.
At this point, over 50% more people playing the game at the same time, with 9,361, getting close to 10,000 players and trending up over the last month with the hype around Campaign Evolved and people being like, oh, I really like Halo. This is a good reminder to get back into Halo. They go to Master Chief Collection, as opposed to the new game that no one seems to be going back to. It started off and is going straight down. It's going the opposite direction. And we also have Halo Infinite, which is pretty much steady, but trending a little bit up. Right now, Infinite. We have 3,000 concurrent players on Halo Infinite compared to Halo Campaign Evolved with just under 6,000.
Not good.
And the reason why I focus so hard on these numbers here is because, one, there's an interesting dynamic I see coming out of this where people don't understand the comparisons being made and they're trying to cope really hard with it. And two, there were massive layoffs at Halo Studios. And there are journals right now that are coping and being like, well, they were actually not full-time employees. They were all contracts. So it's different. Everything is still intact at Halo Studios. Nothing's changed. We're going to talk about both those things in this video. First off, I said Halo Master Chief Collection, which launched first 12 years ago, currently has about double the concurrent players on Steam compared to the shiny new Halo Campaign Evolved. Yikes. This is turning into a mega disaster for Microsoft and Halo Studios. And I took these screenshots at the exact same time earlier today. This was at just past noon, and they had just past 3,000 concurrent players on the new Halo Campaign Evolved remake compared to Halo Master Chief Collection, which had about double the amount of players, which is insane that it's even not mentioned, not to say close, but nearly double is insane. And Stephen M says, I played through the first few levels on Heroic. It's okay. Looks good in parts. However, there's something off. The lack of passion soul is palpable, which I suppose isn't surprising for a team that didn't create it.
You can tell that the new devs who made Campaign Evolved, they really lack the attention to detail and the passion that the original Bungie team did. So example, in the bonus missions, like you're in most of it you're in the Covenant ship, and then in the first level you're with Johnson and like shooting all the Covenant. I find it really odd that there are shelves. Okay, shelves. It's not in the ground. It's not scattered in the ground. There's shelves of very arranged human weapons. Like they never explained that. Like, why is there a dedicated shelf that has an arrangement of human weapons in it? What you're using human weapons for whatever reason? Like, it makes sense. It's like if there's a dead soldier in the ground, that there's a weapon there's a battle rifle or an assault rifle you can pick up. Yeah, it makes sense. But it's like there's a shelf of human weapons. Like it's very arranged too, as if like the Covenant is using it. They never explained that. Like why would you gather human weapons? Like, don't you have your own set of Covenant weapons? It's weird. It's like it shows like they don't really put in care to the level design. Yeah, I agree.
And carries open disdain for what Halo was/is supposed to be. But we have other people in the replies to me, like this Henry guy. Not to be that guy, but Halo Master Chief Collection has 6 campaigns and multiplayer.
Yeah.
While Combat Evolved is just campaign only. So most people who bought it probably played it, then moved on. Most people playing Halo Master Chief Collection right now are likely playing multiplayer. And I said, you're proving my point. He says, not really. Don't get me wrong. I think Combat Evolved was just meh, but I have zero faith in Halo Studios. But to compare a game that is only a campaign to a collection of games that includes replayable multiplayer modes, isn't a fair comparison.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, yeah, I see what this argument is making. The argument is making, but it's been 12 years and the game just came out. For the game to have that little player base and for the numbers to drop off that fast for a Halo game, yeah, it's not looking good. You get this is probably the best defense that you can come up with. Like, oh, the other games have multiplayer, so that's why there's more play. But the drop off is too fast. Like, this is the number this is the argument you would make if it was like at least 6 months have passed, not like 2 to 3 weeks after.
Said fire Halo Studios. And I said, so Master Chief Collection has far more value. Yes, it does. I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm only saying comparing Steam number of a game that only has campaign versus one with so much value is not a fair assessment of how well evolved it. I think it absolutely is a fair assessment. These are apples to apples. You go to the store to buy a game. You can buy Halo Master Chief Collection that has a bunch of games in it, and they're all awesome for the most part. Or you can get Campaign Evolved, which is a remake of one game. Which one are you going to buy? My point is, what Microsoft and Halo Studios did was not something to create value to make people want to go out and buy it. Ryan says, to be fair, you're proving his point. How? 3,000? I mean, this is we're splitting hairs now. Like, no, we're not.
Like, I would have said it like, I get what you're trying to say, but the dive of players is too soon. My God, it's like I would expect Master Chief Collection to have a higher concurrent number, like 6 months later or several months later, not 2 to 3 weeks later. So that's the argument he should have made. Then I think Henry here would have seen it.
Proving his point because it has more than one game on it. So it's not a fair comparison. It's literally apples to apples. It's the same series. You have an option of buying multiple games for less or one game.
Yeah. The argument that Henry was trying to make is that because of the multiplayer aspects of MCC, you can expect more longevity with concurrent players. Yeah, he's right. But the thing is, the decline was far too fast for Campaign Evolved. It should have stayed higher, a lot higher compared to MCC at this point in time. Like 6 months later, 12 months later, sure. Like MCC can be higher in terms of concurrent players at that point in time. Yeah, that one I can agree with.
Or more. Which one are you going to go with? And on top of that, by the way, we have lots of coping and seething with the layoffs that I've talked about multiple times. Now, first off, this is where it all started with this post. I said, update, it's happening. Layoffs are beginning to roll through on LinkedIn for Halo Studios. This is just the beginning. Confirmed. And I showed these screenshots of the people talking about Nick Traitman, the guy that was afraid of real life guns, who was in charge of making guns in Halo. After
I don't know, chap, but is there such a thing as a 6.5 year contract? I don't know, for the Philippines it's usually 6 months, if not a year, not 6.5 years. I don't know, maybe it works differently in the US, but 6.5 years as a contractor, that's very long. Like if that's the Philippines, like if you've been there for like a year, 2 years, they'd usually just fully absorb you already as an employee, not a contractor. But I don't know. Maybe it's a thing in the US.
6.5 years of working on Halo and dodging many rounds of layoffs, it has finally caught up to me. And apparently the Journal Mafia is trying to run defense for Microsoft and Halo Studios right now and say this guy was somehow a contract employee. For 6.5 years, he was a contract.
Yeah,
I have
exactly.
So many doubts on that. It's not even funny. Caleb Lawrence, software engineer, and many, many people that I mentioned in this. And then people were saying, no, it's not true. Dean Takahashi, Halo Campaign Evolved layoffs are evidently contractors, not at Halo Studios. Dean Takahashi going through the cope of a number of game contractors said they lost their job after it shipped in July 28th. However, I have been told that there have been no layoffs among internal staff employed at Halo Studios.
Wait for next quarter. Asha said there's going to be more, right? So just wait for next quarter.
Halo Studios, formerly 343 Industries, worked on the remake of the classic Halo Combat Evolved that shipped 25 years ago, built it on Unreal 5 technology. The game looks great and is expected to do well. I love the game. Oh my God, the Access Media shills kill me. However, the disconnect here is that Microsoft used contractors to supplement internal staff at Halo Studios. And it appears that that is why some people have said they lost their jobs. Quote, no layoffs have occurred at Halo Studios, an Xbox source told GamesBeat. Quote, there are often external contractor shifts that happen after a game ships. This is what people are noticing. Okay, so I want people to remember that as we go into the next portion of this, because I did a little bit more researching after this, because I love these journals that don't actually do their research. They just hear one thing and they just run with it as a story. I said, additional layoffs at Halo Studios are rolling through. It is now being reported that no full-time employees have been affected yet, though I find that claim curious, as many of these folks worked at 343 Halo Studios for many
6.5 years. That's a lot.
Calling them contract employees sounds like cope and damage control. I'll be posting their statements if they made them. Otherwise, their profile pic has the banner open to work on LinkedIn, with their latest position being at Halo Studios as recent as this month. The studios beginning the process of being cleaned out. Do not be gaslit by the spin the media is trying to push for Microsoft right now to save face. It is a disaster at this studio. Halo Campaign Evolved failed to meet even the lowest expectations. Lots of pronouns being was word. You love to see it. I'm not going to read through each of these. Feel free to freeze the screen and read it yourself. But Joshua G, 6 days ago, bad news keeps rolling in. Today, I lost my job less than 2 years after losing my previous job, a senior 3D artist from Halo. We got Joshua Russell, senior gameplay designer, Halo Studios. Halo Studios is listed. They don't list like a third-party contractor. They list Halo Studios, their employer, on their LinkedIn.
Good point.
Kaylee Benoit, senior software engineer, 8+ years of experience. And this,
well, to be fair, I think they use Halo Studios in their resume or in their profiles to elevate themselves. So I can't blame them for that. But yeah, I'm still at doubt if it's actually a contract job. If it's that long, like 6.5 years, 2 years, that's very long for a contractual job.
This was Halo Studios as well. Fred Barkley, he, him, 3D animator, Redmond, Washington, right by where Halo Studios is. And yes, all listed Halo Studios as their employer. I find it very fascinating that they say contract employees that were contracted externally. And that's just 4, by the way. I got loads more. We can keep going, guys. More. One mentions contract, though others don't strike me as contractors. A product director and executive producer, though. A producer and project manager. I have many doubts on some of these ones being contract work. This guy did say he was contract. So just to be fair, when they say contract, I point that out.
There are probably some that are legit, just contractors, but I don't think it encompasses everyone who got let go recently, as can be seen on LinkedIn.
QA, yes, QA is typically contract. It's the end of my contract. So my last day at Halo Studios will be July 31st. So that was one guy, contract. Okay. Michael Farney, product director and executive producer at Halo Studios. Hashtag open to work. That doesn't sound like a contract employee to me. Exactly. I mean, maybe, but what the hell was the hierarchy? Also another he, him, by the way. Thomas Board, another Halo Studios listed employee, senior video game producer and project manager. Hashtag open to work. Josh Zeller, open to work, listed as working at Halo Studios. Charles Ramos, multidisciplined graphic designer, he, him, Halo Studios. I mean, again, maybe they're all contract, but I have lots of questions. And I got to be honest,
it is.
I don't believe the person that spoke to GamesBeat that said, no layoffs have occurred at Halo Studios. An Xbox source. Like, who's the source? There are often external contractor shifts. So we are to believe an unnamed source as opposed to, I don't know, The fucking reality that we can see with our eyes. You guys decide what you want to choose here. I said this goes on and on. Again, there's a weird, massive cope going on.
Yeah, because like in my case, let's say I'm one of those employees who got laid off because of if I'm a contractor, okay, I would indicate in my LinkedIn message if I'm looking for work, oh, my contract has finally expired, rather than writing that I got laid off, then not say that the contract expired. Because to me, if I write it in a way that my contract has expired, it says that, I didn't necessarily get laid off because of underperformance. It's just that my contract expired and it wasn't renewed. I think that's the better impression to give to potential new employers than just getting laid off. I don't know. That's how I think. Like, I would indicate the contract as expired. So just for the sake of elevating my perception a little bit, I would put the contract as expired and my contract wasn't renewed, rather than I got laid off. So, because like, I would say if I get laid off, if like I legit had the job, not a full-time job, not a contract one. So yeah, I think I'm not the only one thinking that way. So yeah, if it's a contract expiration rather than a full-on layoff, I would mention it just so that I could make myself look good a little bit on social media, rather than the full-on layoff. Because like a full-on layoff kind of, it indicates incompetence or you're not capable of the work, compared to an expired contract that wasn't renewed. At least that's how I see it. I could be wrong in that, but that's how I see it personally. So I could imagine there should have been more people that said the contract has expired, or at least a good majority of them said the same thing. If that what that Xbox source said is true. So yeah.
Right now, with some of the mainstream media trying to downplay this story. A lot of people have been let go recently from Halo Studios. I could keep going, which I could. I'm like, bro, it takes a while to go through and find each one of these people. And I found even more. I'm like, I think I made my point. I said, I feel like I've made my point. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I saw many more that I could have been going. I'm like, no, we're good. I'm making my point. Sure, some of these people could have been contract, but we're to believe that all these people were contract, all of them. Stephen Giscombe, after nearly 18 years at Microsoft, I was recently affected by a round of layoffs.
18. That's not a contract, dude. You're fully employed. At least were.
Strange. Rory Young, senior environment artist, Halo Studios, open to work. Again, maybe they're all contract, maybe they're not. And I finished it off saying, start the clock for when the pro journals try to steal this story again and not mention me again, because we all know that's what's going to happen next. But this is just doing the research and realizing what the reality is out there. And you can choose to believe a unnamed masked man source that says they're at Xbox and they're telling the journals what to spit out there to try to salvage a situation. Or you can believe your eyes on what's out there. It's up to you. It's up to you. Emerald Apple says, greatest remake of all time. And people are getting their positions cut. Yep. Now they are trying to do some propaganda, claiming that it was external contractor shifts. What a big, stinky pile of cope and corporate deflection. When you have people working there for years and getting the boot after it launches, it's still a job loss. It also means that there is likely no new content planned.
And like, if it's doing so well, if it was so well received and it's doing banger numbers, then, it's like, you can just resume the contract or renew the contract, right? For future projects or future content or whatever it is, right? If it's doing so well, why not just keep these people? But,
for the game, no DLCs, no feature updates, etc. Yep, this is it. What you see is what you get. Maybe they'll patch some glitches and bugs out of it, maybe, if you're lucky. But at this point, Halo Studios suffers job losses shortly after Campaign Evolve launch. Update, Xbox source says they're not layoffs, but, quote, external contractor shifts. Again, if you can believe that, I got a bridge to sell you, bro. Because holy shit, how gullible do they think people in the community really are? Learning the law. If only we could have predicted what was going to happen to Halo and Halo Studios. It's almost like all the signs were there. Well, of all, No point sweeping for a dying studios. There won't be any media to give access to. Quote tweeting the Gameverse. Update. Halo Studios reportedly hasn't had any layoffs. You guys just saw what I went through, right? Just so we have the facts straight here. According to GamesBeat, we are now to believe the tentpole media on this story. An Xbox source told Dean Takahashi no layoffs have occurred at Halo Studios. This directly contradicts earlier reports suggesting the studio had been affected by layoffs. And I said, might want to check your sources on that one, and I linked my research of the people that, like, literally anyone can do this. I'm not special, guys.
Yeah,
you can log into LinkedIn, search Halo Studios. It's really not that hard.
Exactly.
The information is there. I'm not making this up. It's all there. It's actually really easy to do. It's just no one wants to do the fucking work and look. It's right there. TV reviews. It's a failure, and you are now laying off employees because of how much of a failure it currently is, except that you all don't know how to handle the franchise anymore. And this is quote tweeting Halo. Don't miss your chance to play one of the best remakes of all time. From who? Who said this? Why do you believe that? Polywar, Cortana, if the Halo campaign had been created by Sony Studios. I mean, where's the lie? I love that one. Daddy Warpick, remember when everyone was saying there would never be any consequences for devs who continued producing modern audience slop? This is the going broke part they say would never come. The part they said you were stupid for not buying because your single purchase didn't matter. It always mattered. Quote tweeting Noir and a tweet that I covered in a previous video about the layoffs at Halo Studios, that they're try as they might. The mainstream media today was in full damage control mode for Halo Studios, running with the narrative from Dean Takahashi with a source told him there weren't layoffs. Dean, you fucker, did you even bother researching anything? You just fucking listen. Like, come on, Dean, go to LinkedIn, Dean. Go. I'm telling, just go. You don't need to listen to a source. Do your reporting job. Research yourself. A source told you there were no layoffs at the studio. Look for yourself. Use your eyes. You even have glasses. So you might not be able to see without them, but I know you have glasses, so you have to be able to see with those, right? And we'll leave it at this. Vice. Call of Duty Black Ops ports outsold Halo on PS5 by nearly 11 million copies. The Call of Duty's Black Ops 1 and 2 ports reportedly outsold Halo Campaign Evolved on PS5 by nearly 11 million copies. If the latest Alinea Analytics estimates are accurate, the lower budget Call of Duty ports collectively outsold Microsoft's 2026 Halo remake by almost 32-1. But no, don't worry. Don't believe your lying eyes, guys. Just listen to GamesBeat and Dean Takahashi.
That's fine that it sold more, given it's cheaper and all that. But I think that's too big of a gap because it's supposed to be a brand new Halo game, and it made it to PS5. Yeah, that's not good. How old is Black Ops 1 and 2? 20 years ago? I don't even remember, but yeah, that's terrible.
Who tells you that a source told him that there definitely weren't layoffs because the game's doing fine. Everything's amazing. What's the problem here? Just don't listen to those chuds online that are showing you the truth. Don't listen to them. Listen to us. We're the media. We make the rules here, not them. Halo Campaign Evolved is, by all accounts, completely toast. And I know at this point, there are still a lot of people working at Halo Studios, but a lot of people have been let go. Like, we're talking into the 30s, 40s of people type thing. That's a lot of people over the past month or two. That's a lot of people to be cutting from a studio that, if a game is doing well, and there are plans to make a sequel remake as well. Something tells me that it's not all butterflies and rainbows going on at Halo Studios. Yeah, well, except for the energy sword at the entrance. I'll leave that there.
Ever since like Asha took over, like, it started to make more financially makes more sense financially decisions. So yeah, I should have been posting this video. I should have been sharing the links. But yeah, it's like I played the entire campaign, like, and I posted on X, like, I I got stuck in the second to the last level because I kept crashing in the second to the last level, and I tried uninstalling, I tried lowering my graphical settings, which I shouldn't. I have a pretty good PC, and it kept crashing. So I initially quit playing it, but then I decided, okay, let me try researching on YouTube. So what I had to do was I had to downgrade my NVIDIA GPU drive, which is which is ridiculous because the latest drive at that time was supposed to be optimized for Halo Campaign Evolved. But ironically, it's what caused my PC to keep crashing. It's that driver that's supposed to be optimized for Halo Campaign Evolved. So I had to downgrade my driver just so I could finish the game. But it's it's not a good. It's a terrible game overall, in my opinion. Like, I don't like the changes they made in most of it anyway. Yeah, it's still fun to play. It's still, at its core, it's still a Halo game. Yeah, it's still, you're still gonna have fun, but I feel like the better experience is still MCC, the Master Chief Collection. Like, they added a lot of the weapons from the new games, which I feel it's like it feels bloated now. It feels like, I feel like there's too much weapons given the small structure of the Halo levels and the narrow design of the levels. I feel like there's too much weapons. And they changed like a lot of the game. Like, hunters can't die anymore in a single magnum shot, which used to be a good, which used to be a fun thing back in the OG Halo. And I don't like the grunts exploding sometimes at the back, which causes the plasma grenades around them to explode. So you die accidentally, which is not really your fault. Which for me, that's pretty lame. And what else is bad? I don't like the changes they made with the flood. Like, it used to be when the small, I don't know what they're called, the smallest one, they're harder to um they're harder to do spread damage across all of them because they made the explosion radius much smaller and significantly weaker compared to the original Halo games. And they added a new enemy type that's unnecessary. They added like this huge bulky flood type that didn't fit. That felt like too much of a bullet sponge. Like, it's crazy. Two plasma grenades stuck on it, and it's still not dead. And that's a normal mode too. It's like, yeah, this is not good design. It's just for the sake of, oh, we added a new enemy, and it's not well implemented. But yeah, I pretty much reviewed the game this afternoon, but not a good game. I'm glad I just played it on Game Pass. I didn't shell out $50 for it. Absolutely not worth it. The skulls are just there to pad out the game length and many other issues. And yeah, it's a good thing Beasts of Reincarnation also came out this month. So for my Game Pass, but even then, that game, like, I didn't finish it either. I feel like I got far in Beasts of Reincarnation, but that's the better Game Pass game. If you have Game Pass, play Beasts of Reincarnation. It's not super good, but it's better than Campaign Evolved. So if you're subscribed to Game Pass, play that game instead. It's yeah, it's a terrible game. Like, I would go back to Master Chief Collection, but not Campaign Evolved. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, point of the video is like, I said earlier that there's gonna be more layoffs, which I think there is given the performance of the game. But I think, yeah, the contractor argument is cope. Now that I found out watching Smash GT, it's cope. Like, you don't have a contract for 6.5 years or for 18 years. That's ridiculous. You're fully employed at that point. You're not a contractor. Okay. Let's see. Let me read the comments. Those seem like no numbers for Halo. Yeah, it's like, it has to be at least 6 digits, man. If it's the glory days of Halo. Halo was the pioneer for a competitive shooter before Call of Duty overtook it. Call of Duty learned a lot from it, and then that's 25K is terrible for a Halo game. It really is. And as far as I know, the numbers in PS5 are not good. It's a lot higher for Xbox, and even then, like, the aggregate number of players in all those platforms, I can't imagine it being that much further away from 25K, which is not good for a Halo game. What's with all the snarky characters in today's fiction? It's the DEI mandate. It's the same, it's the same type of people who never should have gotten the job to begin with, and they decide to insert themselves into the equation of the video games of men. And it was, instead of a fantasy or escapism, it instead becomes it's another platform to preach their supposed values. Hello, Cognacat. Hope you're doing okay. Halo is doing marathon like numbers on Steam. Yeah, they are. That's the thing. They are. It just a part of me thinks like maybe Bungie should have just stuck with Microsoft and made more Halo games. I think they would be in a much better position than they are right now. But I think they let their success on Halo get into their heads, and they're not in a not so good position right now because of it. Xbox new CEO was given marching orders. She'll get there either by addition or subtraction. Yeah, exactly. It's like it's like with these numbers, do you really think she's gonna bring in more people to Halo Studios, or is she really? Are we really that sure that she's gonna let go of people? Sorry, if she's gonna recruit more people, no, it doesn't make sense. They're already bleeding a lot. It's already costing them a lot of money to run Xbox, and they're barely breaking even to a certain degree, and they need to recoup the expenses they made acquiring all those studios. It just, yeah, very much a far cry. Is it Halo the most famous game from the Xbox? Yeah. But now, given this, I think it's gonna be. I think Gears of War E-Day will do better. Not phenomenally better, but better compared to how this one did. I hope. But then again, I saw that trailer where like some black female soldier is like shitting on a male soldier. So yeah, it's also DEI coded too. So we'll see. We'll see how it does when it releases this coming October. People who make them are the know-it-all types. The people who were never qualified to begin with, it's just because they passed the metrics, the inclusivity metrics. That's how they got their jobs. And the people who made Halo what it is or what it was back then are long gone. Yeah, I get the feeling it's a lot more than 100 million, but that in itself is a big number. Snark is overdone in today's fiction. Yeah, it really is. The subtlety is gone. A lot of like, I could go on with like the cutscenes that they butchered or that they removed, which they should have kept or they modified. But yeah, subtlety is dead with these writers, if you can even call them that. Halo campaign devolved. Yeah, it really is. The only thing I can even argue it's not even better, the graphics. In some aspects, yes, it still looks pretty shiny, Unreal Engine, but in some aspects, I feel like it lost its heart. It lost the video gaming aspects of the visuals. Independent contractors like in professional wrestling. Yeah, I suppose, but I think the games industry is different. I feel like a contract beyond 1 year is like I've never. Well, then again, my experience is incredibly limited with those kinds of things. That 1 year of a contract and like they're still at that point, if you really excel and they really need you, they might as well absorb you as a full-time employee already. I know that's what happens to people I know who started out as contractors who excelled and then they eventually get absorbed. And it didn't take them 6.5 years for them to do that. Isn't this the guy? Yes. Who can get past the Cuphead tutorial? Yes, this is the guy. Yeah, that's actually a good reminder. Yeah. I just tried the kick streaming and you can just go live through the website. No other programs needed. Ah, okay. Maybe that's what they were trying to say. That's a nice quality of life improvement. But if I want to stream Fortune's Weave when the game comes out, I do want to simulcast you here on YouTube members only, and kit. But I'll see. I'll tinker with it. Yeah, yep, the pronouns. Put the fries in the bag. Yeah, that's exactly. that's where they should be applying. That's where they should be applying now. They have a better chance there than in a game studio. My source, I made it the fuck up. Yeah, exactly. It's like he thinks he's gonna build credibility just because a source, an apparent insider. Who's the insider? A security guard? I don't know. The author Rex Stout said that there are two types of facts. The kind one looks up and the kind one makes up. Yeah, that's true. And I think this is the case of it. I think that even the source made it up. Take it easy on him, Smash. He can barely play the Cuphead tutorial. True. Okay. Give the people what they want and they will never go broke. Yep, true. But I don't know. It's such a hard lesson for the West. I don't know why. I don't. It's like Team Xbox and PlayStation have a long way to go. It's like, there's a reason why I switched over to Team Nintendo. Like that there before the Fortune Sweep Direct. I really felt that Direct was meant for me. Like, oh, we're bringing in Xenoblade Trilogy Switch 2. Better performance, new features, and Xenoblade Genesis. Okay. You won me, Nintendo. You won me. You're my main platform of choice now. Like, yeah, it's not hard. It's not hard to entertain the gamer crowd. There's no such thing as too many weapons for in real life, sure. but for Halo 1, there was like they even tried to balance the game to make the weapons feel more useful as they should. Like they made I feel like they watered down the assault rifle and the shotgun to make the SMG better, especially against the Flood. Anyway, I'm going very technical. Beast of Reincarnation is celebrated in the Wild Heart world. Yeah, it's like it's not a bad game, but it's not an excelling one either, in my opinion. I didn't finish it. I got far, but I didn't finish it anymore because like it felt super samey, and like I feel like the story's kind of just it's just an inferior copy of Nier and Stellar Blade. So like yeah, I think I had my fix. I wanted to make a video on it too, but it's like I didn't I wasn't up for it anymore as I played the game. But it's a decent game. It's like I would get it at a discount, maybe like 30 to 40 bucks or lower, or Game Pass the game. For Fire Emblem, are you going body type A or body type B? I'm not sure yet, but I know that's been in the discourse on X. Yeah, in my opinion, it's like as a Fire Emblem fan, it's sad that they went that route. It's they could have just kept it like the way they did it with Three Houses. Like you just highlight the model. Like if you wanted male or female byleth, don't indicate that anymore. You don't have to indicate male or female. But at the same time, you don't have to indicate type A or type B. They could have just gone with that route. You just lighten up the one where the cursor is going. Like it wouldn't get the backlash. But yeah, like it's sad to see that, but I'm still playing the game for sure. Like that's not gonna deter me from buying the game. And that's not gonna deter the hardcore Fire Emblem community from playing the game. So no matter how much pushback or flack they get on social media, it's it's not gonna affect the financial performance. And like I saw Yellow Flash, I think Madame Savvy and some of G&G. I'm not sure, but to be honest, they were never gonna get the game anyway. If I don't see them getting the game despite that not being there. So yeah, it is what it is. That's pretty easy to set up. Okay, yeah, that's nice. That's a nice user friendly feature for Kick to do. That you don't need a separate software for you to run live streams on the platform. Yeah. The others should do the same actually to make it as friendly as possible for people to do live streaming. The best of the worst. I'm good with my Switch 2 in game. Yeah, that's the ideal setup for for gaming right now. And I joined another Discord server recently, a JRPG mostly server. Like I saw one guy who bought a new PC that's a little bit better than mine, but it costs him around more than double the price of mine. It's ridiculous. It's a good thing I bought my PC late last year before the prices went crazy. He has a better GPU. Like I have a 5070, he has a 5070 Ti, but his PC costs like $3,500. Well, mine just costs like 1,500. Yeah, it's more than double the cost of mine. Yeah, it's crazy. It's like if you want to get a PC or whatever gaming console you want, get it as soon as possible because the prices are only going to go up. Because apparently, I read an article where AI companies have already scooped up all the memory chips until the end of 2027. So don't expect the prices to stabilize anytime soon. Oh, okay. I did not play Engage, so that's why I don't know. They did it in Engage too, so yeah. I'm pretty sure Engage did well. Not as good as Three Houses, but it still did decently enough. But yeah, it's the crowd who's very outspoken against that stuff. They were never gonna pick up Fire Emblem anyway. That that's that's the reality. Okay, bye milk toast. Have a good sleep. Okay. Yeah, I tire of these people harping on games they won't play anyways for mild stuff like that. Elden Ring and Palworld did the same. Yeah. It's like, look, I'm at the side also that I think it's you could have just made it at least don't don't put the identifiers there anymore if you want to avoid any form of backlash from both sides of the aisle. That's how I would do it. Like, don't indicate anymore. Uh but at the same time, it's like, if you're not gonna play the game anyway, or you had no intention to, then you know you might as well just, okay, fine, let them have it. You can even make. Oh really? Oh, okay, that one I didn't know. I didn't know about Elden Ring, but anyway, it is what it is. So that's it for the Halo stuff. So next up is stuff came up about BioWare apparently. So I'll start with an article. Stuff came up with BioWare where, yeah. So this week EA complete the Saudi Arabian Public Trust Fund, I believe, or Government Trust Fund, completed its acquisition with EA. So EA is now a private company. You can't trade their shares anymore in public. So apparently there's, to finance this acquisition, they are now $18 billion in debt. So given that this is EA, before the acquisition, they are already insanely atrocious with their monetization practices, especially with the Battlefield games, the EA Sports games, and they have to pay off this $18 billion dollars in debt, and it's only going to get worse. And they're definitely going to have layoffs to cut costs and to cut costs ultimately. And one of the companies they're speculating is BioWare. And yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense because what do you call this? They When was the last time we got a good BioWare game? Inquisition, but I personally don't like Inquisition. Because yeah, I don't like I feel like open world Dragon Age games don't really fit it. I tried really hard to like it, but I really couldn't. I'm more of a one Origins and two guy kind of guy for Dragon Age. But then they released Mass Effect, Andromeda, Anthem, and Dragon Age: The Veilguard. All duds, all expensive projects that lost the company so much money. And what's the incentive to keep BioWare around given that track record of late? All the pioneers that made BioWare great were gone, and now it's like they haven't been producing anything good of late. Like, sure, they could be producing Mass Effect 5 or the next Mass Effect, but given EA needs to aggressively cut down their $18 billion in debt, I'm starting to feel like it's unlikely they're gonna give them the next Mass Effect will see the light of day. So I could be wrong, but I'm more leaning towards that BioWare's gone, or at least they're gonna try to sell BioWare and its IPs to another company. But then again, who's gonna acquire them, or who do we want to acquire them? I honestly don't know. I don't know who. Like, best case scenario, in my opinion, is like they sell off the IPs. They sell off the Mass Effect, the Dragon Age IPs, and then Larian scoops it up. That would be really, really cool if Larian did that. But the way I see it, I highly doubt it. So I don't know what's in this article, but yeah, but the possibility that EA will sell BioWare Studio is being floated. Yeah, I think the possibility is very, very. $18 billion is a lot of money. Okay, it's a lot of money to have to pay back. So if in the eyes of EA executive or the board of directors, yeah, you really need to try to throw strong blows to bring down that debt. And yeah, BioWare's the prime candidate to chop in the chopping block, in my opinion. And yeah, and apparently there's we don't know yet for sure, but yeah, I'm more inclined to think that they're next. And so it's like, if I were a BioWare employee, I would start applying, looking for new jobs already while I still can, because it's not looking good at all. Like, you don't your last 3 games were garbage, so you don't really have a lot. You don't really have a lot of negotiating power to your head office to say to make the case why you should be retained or why you should stay. So yeah. But anyway, another thing, the reason why I chose this to talk about, because apparently there's some controversy going on with Mark Dara, the former director, or was he a writer of Dragon Age games? So apparently he uploaded a video on YouTube talking about why listen to the community is bad advice. So okay, to be fair, I have not listened to everything he has to say, but this is not this is a terrible precedent or a terrible title. Okay. It comes off as like, yeah, I can see why BioWare got to where it was because of, you didn't want to listen to your consumers, to your customers. And look what happened to Veilguard. You want to insert your politics. You change the entire storytelling or the narrative or the tone of Dragon Age. And look at where we are right now. Anyway, so okay, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he has some good points, but let's see what he has to say.
Developers just need to listen to the community. If you've worked in games for any length of time at all, you've heard some version of the statement more than once. Players say it all the time, journalists say it, sometimes other people on the team say it. And on the surface, it makes perfect sense. Of course you should listen to people that are playing your game. Except it's more complicated than it sounds, because people don't talk with one voice, because the loudest voices in your community don't always represent the majority of your players. And because players don't actually always know exactly what they want. So let's talk about why listen to the community is great advice and also terrible advice. So I don't get completely canceled, let's start by saying developers should absolutely listen to their communities. Players are incredibly valuable sources of information. They tell you when they're frustrated. They tell you where they're frustrated. They tell you what they like, what they don't like. They tell you where they feel like the game is unbalanced, where they feel like they're not getting a fair shake from the multiplayer systems in your game. They tell you where they're getting lost and confused. They also give you a great insight into how they are actually playing the game as opposed to how you wish they were playing the game. A lot of times they're going to identify problems way faster than even the best QA team possibly can. Because there are so many more of them. If you ignore them completely, you're making a game in a vacuum. This is a complete mistake. But what might be coming clear from what I'm saying is that players are really, really good at identifying problems. What they're a lot less good at is identifying solutions. They're not developers. They're game players. They know they don't like something, but the solution they may come up with may not be the best. If they're telling you a class is boring, the actual problem might be that the choices in progression aren't very interesting. It might be that it's too powerful.
So far, everything is mostly what he said is fine, in my opinion. But I think this video comes at a time. Oh, too loud. Sorry. Okay. There we go. Sorry. Okay, actually, let me read the comments first. Yeah, I didn't know I made a girl character with a beard until I... That's funny. Okay, got it. That's funny. Hi, Grae. Thanks for showing the Asmongold stuff. Nerd Wars said they they were, but didn't. Yeah, I got the feeling that that was I got the hunch that Asmongold got suspended because of that. So I decided to do a blind react on what he had to say. And yeah, it was everything I kind of expected and everything he said on top of the health issues that he was panicking about. That one I didn't expect. But everything he said after that, I was like, yeah, it's what I expected from his response in the video. Whereas Phil, his wife underwent surgery. She's fine. She's okay. It's not a life-threatening or it's not an emergency surgery. It's more of like something in her leg, I believe, or that needed to be operated. She's fine. But Phil needed to take care of her for the week, which is why I hijacked Project Eggroll again for the week. So he should be back next week. My first okay, I don't know. I haven't played Elden Ring, so I can't relate, Ravnad. Sorry, but yeah, okay, but that's hilarious. That's hilarious. 18 billion's a lot of barrels of Saudi oil. Yeah, that's the thing. They're going to find ways to cut costs, and the best way, chopping block. chopping block to your staff. Too loud. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So the point I was trying to make is that I think this so far we haven't reached the part why he's making the argument to not listen to us. But so far I think this is a good intentioned video. It just comes across as the timing of this video is not good given what's going on with the Western gaming sphere. Like, the reason why the Western gaming got to where it is because of mostly not paying attention to us, not listening to what we want. Putting the DEI stuff, going all in the live service, butchering characters here and there. This is not the time to be making this kind of video if you don't want the backlash. Okay, like, yeah, I get making this video to bring up the key talking points of both sides, but uh, you know, the Western gaming sphere, the Western game dev, the Western games gaming sphere right now could use more listening to the players rather than not listening. So yeah. So let's get to the part where he's saying why they shouldn't listen to gamers.
Or too weak. It might be that it interacts with the game in a non-standard way. It might just be confusing and players aren't figuring out how to use it to their greatest advantage. If they're saying this enemy AI needs to be smarter, it might be that the AI is bad. It might just be that the creatures are dying too fast and the balance is off. It might be a simple mistake in pathfinding. The feedback that this class is boring or these enemies need to be smarter isn't useless. It's incredibly valuable. It's giving you a window into what they're feeling. You need to understand and pick apart that feedback and understand the problem underneath the solution. Everyone wants to jump to a solution. Everyone thinks they have an easy fix.
Yeah, he's right on that, where you have to be selective on what you pick out on player feedback, which one is feasible, which one makes sense, and then arrive at a certain conclusion or solution for it. But can he say the same with inserting Tosh in Dragon Age the Veilguard? Is that really something you have to think about? You know what I mean? Do you really have to? Oh, I'm non-binary. It's like that's immediately you already know you should be taking that out. Okay, that's not something. There's no deeper meaning or nuance into that. So that's what I'm saying. Like the timing of this is really poor.
But you don't need the fix, you need the problem. If you just take the solution they're proposing and layer it on top of what you have, in most cases, all it's going to do is just move the problem somewhere else. And in some cases, it's actually going to make the problem worse because they're trying to alleviate the symptom that they're experiencing without necessarily understanding the problem as a whole. One of the biggest traps that teams fall into is treating the community as if it's a single voice. You have multiple different groups of people playing your game. You have hardcore players, you have casual players, you have people that play for the math, people that play for the story, you have people that are going to consume every single piece of content, and some that are going to blow through the game as fast as they can and then move on to the next thing. Each of these groups wants different things. And the problem is you don't have an equal conversation with all of these different groups. Chances are, over time, especially if you're a studio that's been around for a while, you've built up a pretty deep relationship with one of these groups, and then a weaker relationship with a couple of others. And there are some groups that you're never talking to at all. Those hardcore players, they want more math. They want a crunchier system. They want realism, they want complexity, but that's going to potentially make the systems unconsumable by other players. The people that are just in it for the storytelling are interested in getting deeper looks into the lore, more understanding of the motivation of different characters. But people who are new to your franchise potentially aren't going to understand all of that, and they might get confused and overwhelmed. So you need to...
Yeah, but it's like, because you cultivated that core audience for the longest time, like the best option, especially now where it's much more competitive, is to accommodate that core audience. Maybe here and there's a little bit of features to outside that audience, but making Dragon Age action adventure, look what it did to the game. That's all I'm saying. Like, yeah, get it to try new features and to not make it too hardcore to cut off potential new people from coming in. But it's like, once a game is established or a new IP is established, like, you gotta serve them to a certain degree. But that's not what happened with Anthem. That's not what happened with Veilguard. And Mass Effect, I think it's just a mismanagement. I believe Andromeda was just a mismanagement. But the fact that you went really far with where BioWare did with Veilguard, it says a lot. Like I think he was a part of that lengthy, disastrous Dragon Age development cycle. But yeah, if you decided to continue serving that hardcore market, BioWare would be in a much better place than where it is now. That's all I'm saying.
To remember that your community is a bunch of different groups. And when you are in a conversation that seems to be unified by your community, take a step back and ask, is this actually all of the community? Or have we built up a very special relationship with a specific part of the community, and we are listening to them to the exclusion of other groups? Because usually there isn't universal agreement in terms.
Yeah, I agree that you don't completely cut off everyone else, but you guys kind of went too far on listening to that other group. That's what happened with you guys, and now the company's on the verge of potentially being sold off or just being closed entirely. Yeah, so it's like never at least do the best you can to keep the people who made you what you were, that made you reach the peak of what you were. That's how I would always go about it. Like if you want something extremely new, extremely fresh, make a subsidiary company. Because like even if it's like a different game or a new IP from the same company, like the core audience will have that same impression. Like if BioWare makes a singing game, let's say for example, that's gonna upset even that audience. Oh, I wanted a good RPG. So it's like you might as well make a new subsidiary if you really want to experiment with those kind of smaller scale experimental games, not reinvent your existing IPs that you built an audience to begin with. So yeah, I kind of disagree
Of what the community wants and what the right solution would be. The reality is that most of your players aren't talking to you at all. Most people buy a game, play the game for a while, maybe really enjoy it, and then finish it and move on. They're not yelling about the game on Reddit or tweeting about what they want or engaging with the community or making YouTube videos. Most people aren't terminally online. You need to remember that your window into your community is narrow. Even if you are being careful to try to hear from all of the parts of the community, you're only hearing from the most vocal parts. If at all possible, you want to have other sources of data, telemetry, achievements, other things that are going to give you a glimpse, a hint as to what's going on in the silent majority. There's the Henry Ford quote, if I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. And this is applicable here as well. If you ask players...
he's not in a position to say this because the last projects of BioWare are not great. So now, had this game been really, really good and it's like really innovative, well received, and did commercially well, yeah, he can say that, but not now. Not after Dragon Age the Veilguard, buddy. No.
Here's what they want. They only have the ability to tell you that within the context that they already have. They can only give you ideas within what they understand. They understand what they experienced, they understand what they felt, they understand what they didn't like, but they're not designers, they're not artists, they're not innovators. So at best, you're going to get something that is like something else. Battle Royale was not a genre that was being asked for by the community. The Nemesis system, not a system that was being asked for by the community. So sometimes you're going to need to do things that you believe are going to give the community what they want experientially, without them being able to tell you that, yes, this is what I want. You're going to have to use the feedback that you're getting, use the interaction with the different parts of the community to innovate, to build.
Again, he's right. But the thing is what BioWare did. I think he's getting backlash because that's not what BioWare did. BioWare did was like, they really changed the tone. They changed the story style. They changed the fundamental gameplay of what makes a Dragon Age game. The storytelling, the lore, they even broke that. So it's like you didn't meet halfway on accommodating what the community wanted and something fresh that will resonate with that community as well, that they didn't necessarily pinpoint or necessarily want at the beginning. What you did was reinvent, basically did a self-insertion, slap yourselves in there and called it, and used the Dragon Age name to carry that, which ultimately this tarnished the name. So yeah, I get that. So it's like I think this video is getting backlash because of the timing, and he's not the person to be saying this. That's what this feels like to me.
Something new, and hopefully it's going to overlap with what they actually want. Listening doesn't mean doing whatever the community says. It doesn't mean holding votes and letting the majority win. It doesn't mean putting the loudest voices first. It means understanding what your community is experiencing, using their frustration, using their excitement, using their emotions to figure out underlying strengths and weaknesses in what you're making, and then use that to make your own decisions informed by the design that you have, the vision that you have, the game that you're making. Sometimes that's going to mean that you need to make a change. Sometimes it means that even though people are frustrated, you need to stay the course. You need to understand that this is frustrating, but understand as well that it is what the game needs. It's what the game has to stick to. If
Dragon Age the Veilguard disagrees. I'm gonna keep putting Dragon Age the Veilguard on him because like that's the last thing BioWare made, and that's the latest thing. That's the one that grew so much criticism. It went viral across social media. So I'll be putting what he says to that standard on their latest project. So yeah, you guys did that. You didn't pay attention to the feedback. And Dragon Age the Veilguard was revealed and trailers kept showing. So
you try to be responsive to every single piece of criticism, your game is likely going to swing wildly all over the place, because improving one experience is likely going to have a negative impact to another experience. So by pleasing this one group, you have a high probability of frustrating another. Sometimes that's what you want to do. Sometimes you want to narrow your focus down to a very specific subset of your community. But there are rarely perfect solutions. So don't narrow so much that there's only 4 people that are going to enjoy your game. So you should be listening, but the trick is deciding how you're going to interpret what you're hearing. So listen to everyone. Listen to the worst people on the internet. Listen to the people that are saying things that aren't even really informed by the game you're making, because even that is useful information, because they're coming to that conclusion for a reason. Sometimes that reason has nothing to do with your game, but often it has something to do with your game. So what should you be doing? You should be listening broadly, seek feedback from as many different player groups as possible. When you're doing this, though, recognize that there are non-player groups that also want to have a voice at the table. And if you're...
Yeah, that's the problem, I think. Like, modern day BioWare listened to the demographic that they shouldn't have listened to. That's the thing. And yeah, look at the final product of the game. Look how the financial disaster that it caused, and yeah, now the entire company, that the dev team is in jeopardy because of that. And I don't know. It's like I don't see a way out. I don't see a light in the tunnel for BioWare. No, unless they were secretly working on another game that's actually really badass, which I doubt. And yeah, to the remaining people at BioWare, start having a backup plan, like in case you get laid off. That's all I'm saying.
Your goal is not to actually sell through to those non-players. You probably actually shouldn't be listening to them. Take all of this information, take the frustrations, take the excitement, and look for patterns. One person not liking the shape of someone's boots is probably just an outlier. If you're getting hundreds of complaints, then it's probably telling you something. Take that feedback and focus on the problems.
I'm sure a lot of people complained about Tosh, I'm sure. And so why didn't you guys take that in? I don't know.
They're identifying, not the solutions that they're setting out. Players are good at identifying where they're feeling pain, where they're having a bad experience. They're much less good at solving the problems for you. So don't use them to solve your problems. Use them to identify the problems. Remember that most people are not terminally online, so get as many different data sources as you can. Get the feedback from the community, but do play testing, put telemetry in, look at what's actually happening with sales of other games to try to figure out what the reality is versus what the community is telling you. The community is one excellent source of data, but it shouldn't be your only source of data. And finally, remember that you have a vision for your game. If you get the best suggestion from your community, but it violates the vision of your game, it's not actually the best suggestion. Not every suggestion is.
That's the thing, you know. Corinne Bush, who's now at Wizards of the Coast, you know, she failed. She, whatever, failed upwards, and yeah, Corinne had a particular vision in mind for the game, which goes against everything the community wanted. So, you know, it's like, yeah, again, the message is, you know, the wisdom he's trying to impart is great. It's just that the timing, and he's not the guy to be. He's the wrong messenger to, per se, because, like, you know, given his last projects were from a company that's now in it, that fell from grace. He's not the guy to be saying this kind of stuff. Unfortunately, you know, I'm pretty sure he had good intentions with this video, but yeah, again, the timing of it all and his role in BioWare before he left anyway. So, not a good look.
Is going to line up with what the game is trying to be, and that's okay. And there will be more games for those players to experience, and they may get that feature in a game in the future. You don't have to act on everything the community says, but where possible, you should try to listen to it. So listen to your community, but it isn't about obedience, it's about understanding. Communities provide you the deepest amount of feedback you're going to get from your players, but it isn't going to be the widest source of feedback. So integrate it into many sources of feedback, because great games aren't built by just doing everything they're asked. They're built by understanding what the players are interacting with and also fitting that into the overarching vision of the game they're trying to make. Sometimes what the community wants and what the right solution is are going to line up perfectly. Sometimes the solution is different than what the players think it is. Sometimes the right response is to not respond to the feedback at all and simply accept the frustration that comes from the way you've chosen to do something. A special thanks to my members. They provide the resources that this channel needs to keep running. If you're interested in becoming a member, there's a link to that down in the description. We also have a Patreon if you're more comfortable.
Okay, just advertise. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, essentially nothing really wrong with what he said. Most of it anyway. Some I disagreed with because, like, it's they did BioWare did the opposite, or there's more nuance to it. Yeah, a little stuff that I disagree with, but overall, what he said were fine. But he's, again, at a time where the Western gaming industry is worth at its at, because they outright refuse to listen, and he's not the guy. He's really not the guy to be saying this. If it's just like, you know, the director of Final Fantasy, sure, he can say stuff like that. It's fine, but for him, a former BioWare senior employee, to be saying that, it's like, you know, it comes off as hypocritical. Hence why I think he's getting backlash. But the content he was trying to portray is fine, actually. As a whole, it's actually fine, but it's just that he's not the right guy, and that's not what the Western games industry needs right now. They need to be listening as much as possible to their hardcore audience, to the paying customer. So this is not now is not the time to be that kind of intricate. You don't pay attention to a particular crowd. It's what got you to where you are right now. So yeah, okay, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Okay, let's see. Where did I stop in the comments? Thanks for letting us know. Yeah, it's fine. It's like, you know, of course, people are gonna wonder why Phil's not around. So lots of game companies are stockpiling chips, microprocessors. The AI companies are, because they need more data centers to train their AI and to increase the functionality. So they're mass purchasing all the produced chips, and these chip companies have no incentive to manufacture on a consumer level, because the profit margins for these AI companies is around, I believe, 5 times more than the profits in the consumer market. So that's why there's a scarcity in consumer RAM and all that stuff. That's why the prices are going up. So if you want to invest in gaming hardware, do it as soon as you can. Even though it's expensive, it's only going to be more expensive. Look, it wouldn't surprise me if Nintendo increases their Switch 2 prices, the PS5, the Xboxes, all of them keep going up in price. So if you want to get the best price in gaming hardware, it's today. Yeah. So you might as well do it now. The only thing you know about the tree is the boss is a big armored guy in the very first. Yeah, very powerful. Yeah, it's just a funny story, Rabna, that you only found out that your character's female when she screamed in pain. That's actually funny. What about going all digital? That's assuming if you're streaming, Ron. If it's like that, I don't like the idea. Like, I'm okay with digital download games, sure. Download it to your hardware, but not streaming. I don't think the world is ready for streaming it. I know there's an article that came up yesterday about the CEO of Take-Two saying, "Oh, in 3 years, streaming games becomes no, I don't think so. Maybe in the future, but not yet. I don't think it's within 3 years. It's too soon. It's too soon for that to be the main thing, especially when physical games are just about to get killed in the coming years. Nintendo will be the last console-based game maker. Yeah, I agree. It wouldn't surprise me in maybe 5 years' time. Nintendo will also start ditching physical. For now, they're getting good PR because they're saying, "Oh, we'll stick to physical." But the fact is, like that article that people are trying to spin, where, "Oh, look, 38.5% of people are still buying physical." That's still the minority compared to the 61.1.5 people buying digital, and that's already Nintendo, where 61% or 62% of people are buying games digitally now. So that's still the majority. So yeah, within 5 years, I imagine even Nintendo is gonna ditch the physical, so people will have no choice but to get their games digitally. Make your games more accessible. Level 1 training demo worked so well in the past. Yeah, exactly. It's like, I get what he's trying to say. I do. It's like, I don't want to keep shitting on him, but this is not the time to be saying that kind of stuff, and nor are you in the position to. Had your last 3 projects before you retired have been absolute bangers, like 10 out of 10s, like legendary status, sure. You're the right person to be saying stuff like, "Oh, choosing which feedback to take, which one to implement." Yeah, you're the right guy to talk about. But you didn't end in a high note, buddy. You didn't. You ended it in the Veilguard, or at least up at a certain point you worked on it. Never hear about people playing FF16 more than once. Yeah, I knew during when Square Enix was marketing FF16 before launch. So, like, for me, it's like, oh man, this is gonna be all about all graphics game. This is not gonna. I felt deep inside it. This is not gonna hit any strides. Well, yeah, it will. It'll do commercially fine for sure, but it'll be well received. But it's not gonna be like what's one of the greatest JRPGs you've ever played, or which is one of the most memorable Final Fantasies you've ever played. It's not It's not often that you will see 16 as part of that list. He's right about mechanics and systems, but the AVG's issues were chapter design and story, which never gets feedback from players during the exactly. And the fact that they even tried to rig the review scores, right? They were being super duper selective on it. Like for IGN, like they intentionally chose the same demographic as Corinne Bush. That's why it got a 9. And they didn't give content creators access after they shat on it on early previews. So they were intentionally maliciously curating the people they gave out free early copies to highly inflate the review scores, but that still didn't help. That still didn't save the game. So yeah, that's kind of immoral in my opinion. Shift up a Stellar Blade Nikkei. Recently saw that new event collaboration is Persona. Yeah, see, like even if you're like a small team or a B tier or a double A team, like if you're just a small or medium player in the game, you can see games like that thrive because ultimately you listen to the core audience, the people you needed to listen to. So, it's just the timing of his video is not good. But then again, he probably just wants it for engagement since he does YouTube videos. so there's that. So I can't argue with that if he just wanted, the views, the clicks. You mean the ingenious system that is locked away since they blew it with the Wonder Woman game? I played Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War. It's really cool mechanic, but they wasted. Yeah, I think Warner Brothers is one of those out of touch and incredibly mismanaged companies in the world. Like, I read an article. I didn't want to bring it up anymore in this live stream, but I read an article when I was researching for stuff to talk about where they're not changing anything with James Gunn's DCU. So
That says a lot. That says a lot about upper management. I agree with that, but the absolute snowflake queen cards get preferential treatment. Yeah, they are. Like I'm glad that in recently they're getting a lot less now, thanks to Trump winning the elections. Like had it been the other way around, they would have quadrupled down, and literally every single game from the West is woke. Uh it's not fair. They don't make it fair. You mean the Elden Ring? Yeah, yeah. The wildest feedback is the feedback from the yeah. That's the thing. They listened to them, or more like they accommodated them instead of the original audience. And now look at where BioWare is at. They're in shambles. Is it basic? Is it too basic to say it comes down to drawings? Yeah, it's who like it's choosing who you want to listen to, and like I'll never forget the people who got you to where you are. That's how I always think about it with stuff like that. I didn't notice anymore. I was paying attention to what he said. I wasn't looking at his shelf. The biggest problem is they don't cater to people who don't play their games. Yeah, exactly, exactly. And look, now it's like now they lost their jobs. They wonder why they're not doing good financially. Breath Edge is free to keep on Steam. Just letting chat no. A free game is always nice. Okay, I'll look into that. I'll look into that. Like, there's another game that went free. Oh, Moonlighter. Moonlighter went free. I'm not sure if it's still free up to now, but the Moonlighter 2 is about to leave early access, so they made the first game free. So yeah, there's also that. I don't know if it's still up, but I think it is. I could be wrong, but yeah, Moonlighter was free, so I managed to snag that. Heard it's a really really good shopkeeping roguelike game. I'm sick of them treating game journalists like gamers who deserve to be catered to. They're not. Yeah, exactly. It's like they're sucking each other's dick just so like the games journalists need them for early access, and like they feel like they need them to get their games sell more copies, which is not true. You just need to make a really really good game, and no matter how much shitting access media does to them, if it's a good game, the community will financially support that game. Which is I don't know why they still don't get that up to now. I was talking about the way they're biased towards the wokies as to who they'll listen to or what should be included in their game. Yeah, and look what's happening: mass layoffs, a lot of losses, games underperforming, and yeah. I think the Western gaming sphere is starting to wake up, but the question is, can they rebound? The question is now, can they make actually good games again? Because the people who made their games good, they're gone. You kick them out. You kick them out in the industry. Now can you get them back, or can you get people who are genuinely interested in making your game good? That's the question. I didn't even watch the new Supergirl. Yeah, neither did I. Or Peacemaker season. Yeah, Suicide Squad. I like both, and season one of Peacemaker hold up. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like even if some Westerners make good entertainment, they eventually fall off. Eventually, at least that's the trend in the modern times. But hopefully they can start seeing what's happening and recruit people who actually make good games, aka the chuds. Have you played the new E-Day? I did not sign up. I tend to not play competitive multiplayer, so I'm not really the best guy for that. It's like that's the reason why the videos I make are usually for single player. So, but I will Game Pass E-Day. I will Game Pass E-Day and see if I like it. Yeah, but it has an uphill battle. I know it's Gears of War, but I don't think it has that strong pull that will get people to invest in an Xbox. I don't. I think Xbox needs more than that. They're corporate studios who play games for profit and have done basically no good for actual gamers. Yeah, their existence makes games worse in the name of more money. Yeah, that's the thing. It's easy to lose sight of the the moment you become so big that you attract big hedge fund managers or angel investors or the big wigs. Like it's easy to lose sight of making games for passion or making good games in exchange for games that maximizes revenue, driving up revenue. That's always the weakness, especially for games in the West. They always fall for that trap the moment they get the big investment money. But I'm hopeful a little bit. At least we can see the live service games failing and stuff like that, and the woke games are dying. People are being let go. The people who don't deserve their jobs are being let go. So time will tell. Time will tell if like the Western gaming sphere will improve. But for now, at least there's China, there's Japan, there's Korea for us to give good games, and the indie darling from time to time. So speaking of indie, so okay, so I have just one more topic. Yeah, I'm not gonna stay up for very very long. So so there's a new trailer that came out for Swords and Slip. I haven't seen this, but you know, keep this in your radar. They're finally on Steam. So I've been waiting for them to release on Steam. So the next Gooner, the next indie Gooner game is upon us. So yeah, let's take a watch before I react to Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave Direct. I haven't seen this, but yeah, I've been keeping my eye on this game along with Phil, I'm sure. So they've unveiled Rapunzel, a new character. So this is hack and slash game that involves the fairy tales, Snow White, Little Red Riding Hood, and now Rapunzel, that are, you know, highly sexualized for us gooners. So let's see this trailer. I haven't seen it. Their gameplay. That's it? Okay. Now, at least there's gonna be variety in gameplay. You know, it's like it's not just every character has an axe or a sword. At least there's Rapunzel is gonna use her hair most of the time. Yeah, looking good, looking good. I'm excited for it. I'll probably get it when it launches, but I think I can see them 2 to 3 more years before this makes it to early access, or if they're just gonna release the game in full. But anyway, so yeah, the final thing for today. Yeah, so I have some thoughts about this game. So as you guys know, I'm a JRPG guy. So I have this huge dilemma that I have to choose between this or Trails in the Sky second chapter. But I've already committed to Trails in the Sky. So, because like, there's something about this that gave it away for me. So that kind of diminished the excitement. Don't get me wrong. This is an insanely good direct. It's insanely good, but I'll talk about it more when we reach that part. But there's something about this that kind of killed my excitement for it, which I did share on X in my account. But for those who don't follow me there, I'll explain why here. Okay, so yeah, this is a really good direct. So yeah, so non-Fire Emblem Andes. This is like, yeah, this is pretty much the end of the stream. So if you have zero interest in Fortune's Weave, there's nothing left for you here. So just an FYI. If you still want to stick around to see my thoughts on Fortune's Weave, yeah, go ahead and stay. Thank you. Let's go. Tell me if it's loud. If it's a little, okay, it might be a little too loud for me. Let me know if it's too loud.
Come, celebrate the second birth of this world's rightful ruler. At the advent of the underworld.
We never win the battles ahead without them. We need as many as we can recruit.
The Dagdan Empire, a land at the peak of prosperity.
I'm not sure if people confirmed already if it's like post or pre Three Houses. I'm still leaning towards pre, well, which I'll explain later. But some people are saying it's post. It might be both, but I get the feeling it's pre.
The rule of the gods. In the capital city of Daxian, bustling markets, ports teeming with trading ships, temples to the gods, and other establishments line the crowded streets. This is also where the heroic games are held in tribute to Dagda, the Empire's first and founding king.
The heroic games have begun!
It's said that Solel, the current ruler, will grant one wish to whoever.
Yeah, I wonder what will happen to each of the heroes, like toward at the end of the competition. Like, so is this like a deceptive, like evil wish plot? Because like, yeah, spoilers for those. If you're here, you're probably okay to what I have to say with Fortune Sweep. So spoiler alert, like they revealed that they all died at the they all died at the end of each of their paths, like 5 years later. So is this like some evil maniacal wish? Like if you made a wish, it comes with conditions and shit like that. So yeah, pretty weird. What do you call this? I get the feeling this guy's kind of, maybe he's a bad guy. Probably. He's the guy who's granting wishes.
Wins the games. Those vying for the prize hold strength, determination, and undying convictions they refuse to yield. The story revolves around 4 heroes who have entered the heroic.
I don't have Nintendo Music, but people have been uploading the soundtracks on YouTube, and what they have to go through to upload the song, it's hilarious. But it's out there, just saying. For people like me who don't have Nintendo Music, like I want to subscribe to Nintendo Music to listen to the soundtracks, because the soundtracks are really good. But to those who don't, like me, they're on YouTube. You just need to look.
Games. Who you choose will determine how the narrative unfolds as they fight for glory. Kai is a young boy living in the peaceful village of Ribera.
What are you guys starting with? I'm still not sure, but I'm leaning towards more of Lita.
Daxian for crimes committed. In hope of a peaceful life as a family, he sets out with his childhood friends to win the heroic games and save his father. Dietrich, ever in search of a stronger opponent, is attacked by an enormous monster while sailing a stormy sea. Beautiful. He then washes ashore in the foreign land of Dagda. This is where, between battling bandits and beasts, he learns of the heroic games. To slake his thirst for battle, Dietrich decides to compete in the heroic games with new allies at his side.
That settles it. Time to hit the road to Daxian.
It looks so much better now compared to 300.
Hailing from the kingdom of Ceramus in the south, Theodora represents a culture that worships the keeper of death and night, a goddess loathed throughout the lands. Swearing to restore the honor of her goddess and defend the faith.
They didn't reveal it here. More spoilers. But they shared later on that she lost her arm. So this is her. She made a pact with a deity to get this arm. So she lost her arm along with her dad also got assassinated. The same with Lita. So yeah, additional info for those who don't know.
Of the people and the peace of her kingdom, Theodora leads her veteran retainers into battle with the goal of winning the games. A young woman born into prestige and blessed with musical talent, Lita is consumed by rage following her father's murder at the hands of an unknown assailant. Having given everything to seek revenge, she eventually learns of the killer's plan to participate in the heroic games.
Alive! I will kill him.
To bring an end to the man who murdered her father, Lita heads to Daxian with supportive companions in tow.
I'm sorry, Theodora. But I won't be letting you take the victory today.
Yeah. My issue with this is like, since they're building up that they'll all work together eventually, in the time skip, is that so does that mean like nobody dies in, or it's like this is in the discussion for in the hardcore community or those eagerly waiting for fortune sweeps, like are the four paths or the four heroes, are they in the same universe or are they in a different universe? For me, I'm more leaning towards it's gonna be there. Each of those are different universes because like the outcome is separate for each of their four paths, but which I'll elaborate later why. But because like for me, it's pretty lame if your plot is arena battles and nobody dies. Okay, for me, it's about blood, gore, and death when it comes to arena plots. And if you're gonna tell me no one dies at the end, it's like, you know.
If victory is decided by conviction alone, then I think it shall not be up to you.
I have burned to duel you, white-maned demon.
But I'm sorry. Failure is not an option for me either. But that's only because I don't have any choice!
Going into each match, you'll choose your party members and their initial placement on the field. Then, let the battle commence. Each unit's movement range is shown in blue, and their attack range.
This part is like, it's like for people who have no idea how to play the game. Yeah, I know, man. I know. There's the sword, there's the bow, there's the axe. Okay.
Red. Once all of your units have completed their actions, your opponent's turn begins. You'll take turns moving and fighting across the map as you engage in fierce combat. Victory includes defeating the opposing leader, among other conditions. The four heroes and their allies can utilize various means of attack.
This one's cool. Like each of them has a exclusive special ability that's you can use in creative ways in battle. Yeah, I think that's really cool. I'm excited for that one for sure.
Swords are straightforward and easy to wield. Gauntlets make it easier to evade attacks.
Here it comes!
Spears deal massive damage to cavalry units. Axes have low accuracy but high attack power. Bows strike enemies at a distance and can deal fatal blows to flying units. And magic is effective against foes with heavy armor. It can also heal or otherwise support allies in dire situations. There are also swords that call down lightning, gauntlets that look like firearms.
I didn't realize this character.
Dire situations.
Yeah, I didn't notice until people pointed it out. Like, yeah, this looks like a descendant of Petra. So that's like either ancestor or descendant, depending if it's a prequel or a sequel. So that's why I'm leaning more towards prequel, because like if it's a sequel, like although like there's an Ursula looks like from Marianne's line, and she has the same lines too. She has the same dialogue too. So it doesn't make like they have to choose particular endings or a particular canon ending for Three Houses if this is a sequel. That's why I'm leaning more this is a prequel than a sequel.
There are also swords that call down lightning, gauntlets that look like fire.
Yeah, this one went viral. She went super viral after this. So yeah, probably this is the best argument on why it's a sequel. But since it's another region, maybe it's like just an artifact that they picked up. But this definitely has repercussions in the future of Fire Emblem. It's like they're probably gonna deep dive more in Shambhala, the ancient tech in Three Houses, on how she was able to get this gun in whatever ruins that she found it on, stuff like that. So it wouldn't surprise me if one iteration of Fire Emblem was like, it's futuristic, kind of like XCOM. It becomes like an XCOM like game. So, but yeah, at least it's a good way of slowly introducing sci-fi into future Fire Emblem installments.
And other unique weapons to find. Positioning is a key element of combat. When you strike within an enemy's range of attack, they might counterattack. Consider attacking those equipped with close-range weapons from a distance, and get up close and personal against long-range opponents to avoid counterattacks. The terrain can also give you an advantage, while adjacent allies can receive buffs.
Yeah, this is good. This is good. Like, like this is extremely good quality of life. Like this didn't used to be a thing, even in Treehouse. I'm not sure with Engage, but in Treehouse, I wish I could have seen this. Like, people adjacent to me, what additional buffs they get, what additional perks they get. That would have been mighty useful. Especially you got well, some of you know that I do maddening runs, so that's extremely useful. And another feature that wasn't brought up here in this direct is growth rates are finally available, which is okay, wait, let me show that to you guys. Wait, okay, give me a moment. Give me a moment. Or Fire Emblem growth rates. I'm trying to look for it. Give me a moment. Can't find it. No. Shoot, where is it? Wait, let me try to Google. I'm trying to search it on X. Let me just do. There we go. Okay. Here we go. Let me share. Because like this is super useful for like hardcore players. So for the first time ever in any Fire Emblem game, so they're showing like growth rates. So for those who don't know what that means, is this is what you see on screen right now? That's not the stats of this is Theodora. That's not her stats. Okay, that's not 60 strength or 25 magic. No, that's not it. So what this is for people who are not aware of how RNG works for Fire Emblem is that each character has growth rates. So what does that mean? Normally this used to be on the back end where you don't see it in game. You have to research online to find this data. What this is like, this is like the probabilities that that particular stat increases by 1 each time they level up. So if you're wondering why like it's super random each time a character levels up in Fire Emblem, it's because of this. It's because of the growth rates. So here in this case, how you read this is for each time Theodora levels up, she gets a 60% chance to increase strength, a 25% chance to increase magic, 35% to increase speed, 45% to increase dex, and so on and so forth. So it's like based on this data, you know that she's more optimal to be a warrior build because like, high probability her strength will increase, high probability her defense will increase, and she has high charm because she's a lord, so it makes sense. Her charm is very high. So yeah, so this is extremely useful to plan out your builds if you want to do maddening runs for Fortune Sweep. Like, oh, okay, I can see that Lida is good for warrior classes. So yeah, I'll plan it. Okay, you'll be more focused towards warrior classes. So because like you have a high probability of having really, really good strength-based stats. So yeah, that's it. That's like, a nice tidbit for those who are not aware, though I get the feeling some of you are. But yeah, that's very, very useful for me, that if I want to plan out my maddening runs or future runs. Anyway, let's get back to it. Okay, that's yeah. So that's a Knight's tidbit that's not on this direct. That's why I had to make a separate stream. They didn't feature that in this direct. So that's a really, really good quality of life in a hardcore planning perspective.
Advantage of the situation to control the battlefield in your favor. Combat arts are attacks unleashed at the expense of weapon durability.
Oh,
there are.
If I'm not mistaken, weapon durability is back. I believe that it was removed in Engage, but it was in Three Houses. So I believe weapon durability is back, but it only gets a durability for weapon only gets consumed if you use combat arts. Not like in Three Houses where a normal attack costs 1, which I don't think is the case anymore for Fortune's Weave.
Attacks with greater power, longer range, or other advantageous effects. So use them in decisive moments. There are also special moves that consume your soul in exchange for power, called Blaze Arts.
Yeah, I think Leadus is like special ability. I think Leadus is kind of too OP in my opinion, but we'll see how it's implemented when we get to play the game.
Kai releases a burst of otherworldly power from his hand to cast flames in a wide area. After moving, Dietrich's ink black cloak can warp him to locations on the battlefield that aren't easily accessible. Theodora uses the power inherited from her ancestors to rend the earth and hurl it at foes. Lita plays her Beware to buff allies.
I think this one is too OP.
Summon a powerful monster.
Like I don't know, maybe they're not showing more, but compared to Theodora's, I think Leadus is much better. You know, she can buff people or she can summon monsters. Where Theodora, she just throws a boulder and that's it. I don't know. I'll see how they balance out each of their special Blaze Arts.
And more. These special moves can turn the tide of battle, but at the cost of the hero's health points. Additionally, if your allies fall in battle,
I think I need a break.
you can turn back time. After each move, you can rewind to any previous point in battle, so don't be afraid to rethink your strategy if things don't go as planned. Based on their class, such as Shido, who are skilled with swords, Bardingers, who fight on horseback, and Bishops, who use white magic, a unit's abilities can change dramatically. The weapons they can wield and their range of movement also vary. Classes are divided into beginner, specialty, and advanced.
At least this is all in a sense I preferred. I'm not sure if I prefer this than the tiers of Three Houses, but at least 3 makes it a lot easier. It's easier to what do you call this? It's easier to manage. I forgot how many tiers Fire Emblem Three Houses has. I think 4 or 5, but at least they you know they streamlined it to just 3, which is fine.
Tiers. Beginner classes are the foundation. Gladiators excel in handling weapons. Diviners can wield magic. And Orneus riders can cover more ground. There are 5 beginner classes in all. Specialty classes have more specific abilities. Armored knights boast ironclad defense with heavy armor. Winged soldiers can leap obstacles and cover long distances, while charioteers can strike multiple enemies in a straight line. There are over 10 to attain. Advanced classes are masters of their skills. Cataphracts
and the
have the mobility of horses with the defense of heavily armored units. Guardians are skilled with both spears and white magic.
Wait, did they show the portrait? Oh yeah, they did. Yeah. I don't know if this is like the ancestor of Shamir or her descendant. Maybe her ancestor, because like, you know, same eye color, same hairstyle, same same pose. You know, it's like you know, it's like the male version of Shamir from Three Houses. Like, you know, yeah. just nice Easter egg.
Ability of horses with the defense of heavily armored units. Guardians are skilled with both spears and white magic. Plus other classes that possess a combination of strengths. You'll also find the overwhelmingly powerful elephant riders and other classes that fight while astride giant beasts.
Here we go.
You
people are divided on this chat. For those of you who know, guys, like Seraph is like a three houses character, so it's confirmed that he's here. But yeah, his design is very divisive. I think it's terrible, but I'm starting to see like people discussing this online, where I think this kind of justifies more that it's a prequel, because it makes sense that if you see his eyebrows and green, or his eyebrows are green, and some of the locks of his hair are green, but it's still mostly blonde/yellow. I think it makes sense that this is a prequel, because as he gets older, yeah, he looks younger here too, for sure. He doesn't have the facial hair yet. As he gets, for those who don't, I'm gonna drop a spoiler bomb. He's not a normal human being. He's one of the gods. He's Saint Keyhole in Three Houses. So what do you call this? As they get older, their hair becomes more green. So it's like he's aging here. So by the time he reaches Three Houses, it's all green. So it makes sense lore-wise. So which kind of further justifies that this is a prequel. But yeah, it looks, people kept making fun of him. He looks like Ludwig in one of his videos, one of the production videos that he made. Anyway, yeah, not a fan of the look, but it is what it is. Lore-wise, it makes sense.
defeat me?
Between matches, you'll have time to get ready for what's to come. You'll receive some useful intel about your next opponent. So use this information
I missed that. That's very useful. Like, I wish we had that in Three Houses. You know, not like I had to memorize everything before I started to do maddening runs just fine. You know, I had to memorize everything that happens for me to do maddening runs. At least here they tell you what you're up against. You know, that's very good in planning out your, like, what to do during the day, what to develop, who to recruit. That's mighty useful. I missed that one.
Exploring Daxian, or venturing off to improve your team's prowess in battle. The time is yours to spend.
So delicious.
Let's look at some of the things you can do in Daxian. The Arena Plaza is where you can receive additional training once per week in the time between matches. As your skills improve, you'll learn new moves to use in battle and be able to wield increasingly stronger weapons. On match days, you can watch battles between other participants unfold to research your opponents.
Okay, I missed that. I wasn't paying attention. That's really
At the
useful.
shopping arcade, you'll purchase weapons and tools, or enhance your weapons using materials you've collected.
Same as Three Houses.
This temple row is watched over by a bronze statue of the Divine Sovereign and is home to 7 temples. Depending on which temple you volunteer in, you'll acquire a blessing to use in battle. These provide effects such as a temporary stat buff, halving the damage you receive, and more. Speak to an exam proctor to take a certification exam.
Yeah, a lot of people were making fun of this
depends
too.
on who
Like it looks terrible compared to his default build, but yeah, you have to make them go through these classes so you can get better abilities and stats. So it is what it is.
taking the test and the class they're aiming for. So be sure they have the necessary skills before applying.
Plus, I'm sure like they have the same setting as Three Houses, where you can make them wear their original outfit if you really don't like what he's wearing. So yeah, should be fine.
To attain the pleasure I seek.
You can also receive quests from townsfolk. Complete them by the given deadline to receive rewards. You never know who might ask for your help.
In this matter.
The Divine Sovereign? Why would someone of your stature be here?
Yeah, okay.
You can also recruit powerful...
Okay, I'll elaborate more on this later when we get to the latter part of the trailer, but I have questions on... A lot of people have questions on this feature.
...warriors you meet in Daxian. Even if they turn you away at first, try giving them gifts.
Appreciate it. The spirits
Or invite them to share a meal. That might be enough to win them over. At inns, not only can you lodge and eat, but you can let time pass to gain experience and gather materials automatically.
Looking good.
Characters who've grown close may converse and show their support to each other here too.
Also here, I get... Yeah, there's just so much things that was revealed later that I feel like support is not going to be as in-depth as Three Houses, given the variables. I'll elaborate later, but I feel like it's not going to be as... For those looking for this as the main reason why they want to get Fire Emblem, like, I think it's not going to be as... Yeah, it's not going to have the same depth as Three Houses, is all I'm saying. Because given how it's structured, which I'll elaborate later on in... Yeah, I'll say it later.
Oh, and can I get a raise? Then I'd be psyched to work even harder.
Thanks, Kai. I came here to say I was pulling for you, but it went the other way around.
As your journey continues, you'll gain access to even more facilities.
I'll remember this for a long time to come.
This is the Pale Raven's Perch, a spot where a mysterious white bird rests its wings. From here, you can swap to a different hero. Progress is saved for...
This is the biggest feature that surprised everybody. Like, holy shit. They actually addressed the problem in Three Houses, which is going through all the story paths to get all the endings. You have to repeat the monastery all over again. So it's like, that was one of the biggest criticism for Three Houses, which, in my opinion, as someone who played it so many times, it's fine. Like, you know, I didn't see it as a big deal. But to a lot of people, like, they felt the monastery was too much of a drag. But yeah, so they actually fixed it. They found a way. So there's a lot of questions here in this feature. There's a lot of how it's going to be implemented and how it will affect the other features, which I'll highlight later.
Each of the heroes, so playing through all 4 of their stories in parallel is an option.
Yeah, this one is crazy.
When you venture outside of Daxian, you can explore areas across
This one
the
is like,
continent.
holy shit. They really stepped up.
Time passes every time you move, so plan your expeditions carefully. Visit towns to purchase local wares.
Anything you'd like?
Or gather information that could be useful on your adventure. Travel with your allies to improve everyone's abilities in battle. Enemies will randomly appear on the world map. When you encounter one, a skirmish will begin.
Yeah, this looks really fun. I'm excited.
Earn experience points by felling your foes. You'll also find dungeons where you'll collect materials for strengthening weapons, along with other treasures.
I was like, what the fuck in this part of the direct?
When you encounter enemies roaming in a dungeon, a turn-based clash
Yeah,
that
you know,
differs...
it's like it became Persona awful. Maybe not as in-depth, I imagine. I don't think it's gonna be super deep compared to like Persona or Final Fantasy, but you know, they put in the effort to make it a turn-based game. It's like that's crazy. But like this is like really ambitious of them to try to do. Nobody asked for this, but they did it anyway. So yeah, I just hope it's very fulfilling to play, even though I get the feeling that it's not gonna be super deep as a traditional turn-based RPG. But you know, at least they tried. I'll give them that. At least they made the effort to try.
From normal battles will begin.
I suppose I must.
In clashes, you can perform attack combos with your allies. Plus, each of the 4 heroes can use abilities that are unique to them. For instance, Dietrich can flush out enemies in hiding, while Theodora can recruit soldiers in towns and send out her assembled troops to gather materials or deploy them in battle.
Will not miss this chance. Need some help.
Make the most of these commands to enhance your power of battle.
Yeah, this is insane. That's a lot they introduced. That's a lot they tried to do.
Bold warriors, draw now upon your strength. Hold fast to the devotion in your beating hearts. For those who stand upon the final stage, I shall grant whatever wish you may desire. So say I, the divine sovereign, that I vow to you. People of Daxian, hear me now as I declare that the heroic games have begun!
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So Ravned, you asked me earlier if I didn't like what happens after this. The answer is yes. I really, really feel that they should have ended it here. Like, a part of me regrets like watching what was after this, but you know, either way, I was gonna find out because it was all over social media afterwards. Like, they really like. I feel like maybe there's some other like insanely good twist when we get to play the game, but you know, like for me, like if they just kept this under wraps and let us find out as players that what comes next here is actually going to happen, let us discover ourselves. Like, you know, I would have said in my YouTube video, I would have said like, shit, man, that was super, super good. That was a very, very good reveal. I would have said that, like, but you know, they took that away from us. I don't know why. A lot of people disagree, argue with me. Oh, it was really going to happen. Oh, it's actually the beginning of the game and stuff like that. But for me, it would have been really, really good writing if they just kept it there, and not tell us that that was going to happen. And yeah, so a lot of the permeating questions that I have, it hinges on what's going to happen next. But the way they introduced it here, it's really, really cool. A really, really good throwback to Three Houses. So anyway, yeah. The song, guys, she sang it. That's a really good throwback, the way they did it here. Yeah, there's a lot of questions here in this part. Like, anyway, I'll talk about it in a bit.
In time's flow, see the glow of flames ever burning bright. On the swift rivers drift, broken memories alive.
I see that my song has finally reached your ears.
Five years after the heroic...
A part of me feels like they felt compelled to reveal this is because I think they saw a lot of people online saying, oh, I'm gonna play Lida and Kai's path. Oh, I'm gonna play Dietrich's path. Oh, I'm gonna play who's the last one I didn't mention? Kai, Dietrich, Theodora. I felt Nintendo had to say this because like they wanted people to know that the ideal path is for you to play all 4 of them. Because I can't really blame them on that because like we didn't know. Like we didn't know like back then before this direct. Like all the while we thought each of the 4 paths is as long as a 3 houses path. So maybe people thought that they'll only do 1 to 2 runs, then that's it. But no, you gotta play all of them. You gotta play all of them. So that's why they felt like they were forced to reveal this. Otherwise, this would have been really, really good. This twist would have been insanely good. But you know, it's gone. It's taken from us. We all know. We all know what's gonna happen.
Games. Dagda faces its end at the hands of the revived demon god Balor. Even the 4 heroes who played a significant role in the heroic games have vanished. To confront the situation, the progenitor god, Sophis, calls down a single soul. This is the story's true protagonist.
Yeah,
You are given 2 choices.
It's so, for me, it's like it's too much on the nose. Like it would have like at least try to conceal it a little bit or leave it to player interpretation what it means. But the narrator just straight up tells you what's happening. He's like, oh, you're telling me too much. You're telling me too much. You should have kept this. But like people were arguing with me online, like the latest, because like Trails in the Sky second chapter also got a trailer. So the people who played the game said, already played the original game, kept telling me, oh, they show too much. They show too much. But for me, this is too much, man. This is too much. Trails in the Sky second chapter is fine. I didn't feel like I got spoiled. But this one is like overkill.
The forces of the demon god Balor on your own, with the knowledge that it's no easy task.
This one people are saying like, how are they going to implement this? I think I have a good idea. Like, once you finish at least one of them, like if Kai's or Lida's or Theodorus or Dietrich's, just one, you'll have access to Eshmel already. Like if you're good enough, if you're that much of a pro player, you can keep the bad guy. I forgot the name of the bad guy, the evil dragon. You can beat the evil dragon on your own if you're really that good. Then you'll get a particular ending if you do that. But if you want the best ending possible, then you have to go back in time to save all 4 of them. You can beat the dragon on your own. You can beat it partially. You only save 1 or 2 of them, for example, or you get the actual ending where you save all 4 of them and beat the dragon. Which is the golden ending. That's how I see it anyway. That's how I see that's the implementation is.
Or use the time-traveling powers of the goddess Fortuna to change the fates of the 4 heroes. You must carve your path in the hope of saving Dagda from destruction. Those who join you in the future will strengthen the might of your assembled forces. This
is all over X. The moment that the direct finish, like I was gonna find out either way, even though if I chose not to watch that part, but nobody knew that they were gonna reveal this. So I really feel like it hurt my excitement. Like for me, story is such a huge factor. Like if I know in a general sense what happens, like it's like it kills my. I already know. It's like it's just a matter of the nuances. I get it. How the character development, the twists, the twists and turns along the way. I get that. But it would have been nice to experience that and this get get nuked to you right away. That would have been really, really nice. That would have. For me, that would have elevated the game to a whole new level if they didn't review this. But I can't really. Nothing I can do about it now.
Where your story begins, the end of the world at the hands of the demon god. Which path will you walk?
The rest is up to you.
Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave launches September 17th, only on the Nintendo Switch 2 system. Pre-orders are available now on Nintendo eShop. The Fire Emblem Fortune's...
Yeah, so anyway, yeah, I won't be playing it at launch. I'll play Trails in the Sky second chapter first, then I'll upload my video. Then I'll do Fortune's Weave. So maybe by then, by the time I'm done with Trails in the Sky, I'll be able to pick up some tips on how to play this on Maddening. Then I'll live stream it. I'll live stream all 4 of them, and probably the golden ending too. So anyway, so what I wanted to kind of dissect is, where is it? Where is it? Okay, and what I wanted to, okay, let's go back here. Where is it? Let's go back to recruitment. So the biggest issue that people have right now that's still unanswered, at least as of this live stream, is since they're all like, you have the parallel feature where you get to play as all 4 of them at the same time. You just need to keep swapping out. So number one, like, so does that mean that none of them die in the tournament games? So that's one. That's a basic one. And like, the bigger issue is how will recruitment and supports work. So before this direct, I got the feeling that the support characters of each of the heroes, I was pretty sure, yeah, these people are probably gonna be loyal to the hero. They won't defect to the other side. Like, example, like Esmeralda is not gonna go switch out to Kai's side. I was pretty sure that wasn't gonna happen. So the question is the pool of characters that are recruitable in town, right? So it's like, do I have to worry about managing who goes to where because you're controlling all 4 at once, or are each of them in separate universes that it's eat all you can per faction? Like, example, this character Noctula. Like, do I have to worry, like, should I get him for Kai, or should I get him for Dietrich, or will I be able to get him for all 4 factions, since like they're all in 4 parallel universes? That's the question that people are asking, which we don't have a sure answer. So what I would want is like 4 separate universes, like, and then like Ashmel saves each one for each universe, the one that you completed. Like, so it's like, I'm more of the camp where, like, example, he chose Kai's path first, then he takes down Theodora, he takes down Lida and Dietrich, and then he's the surviving faction in the arena games. And then in Lida's side, she takes down Kai, she takes down Theodora, she takes down Dietrich. So Eshmel will be saving each of those universes and bring them into one to be able to combat it. That's what I want. But at the same time, all of their 4 statues are positioned at once during the time skip. So that kind of invalidates that theory, where you see all 4 of their statues at once. But then again, we don't know how the story goes either, where for all we know, all 4 of them were revealed, regardless of which path you take, or regardless of who the winner was. So yeah, it's like, I get the feeling like it's gonna be like, not a lot of people are dying because of it, because not a lot of people are dying in the arena games because of it. But yeah, I'm more leaning towards, I don't want to worry about whether I want this guy in this particular faction. If I want to recruit as many people as I can per faction, then let me do it. But then again, it also doesn't make sense if Eshmel's recruiting all 4 of them in each of their armies. So you're not getting 4 versions of this guy too. So I don't know. That's the big question. Like, how are they going to implement the recruitment process and the supports? I feel like there's too many supports for it to be. There's too many characters for supports for it to be as robust as 3 houses. Like, if you're gonna compute for the combinations, like, there's too many. There's too many for Nintendo to properly flesh out all of them in equally. At least, it's not gonna be as well. Like, support 1 is not gonna be as well fleshed out as support number 56. So yeah, that's what I feel. That's what I wanted to kind of deep dive on what's not yet clear with regards to recruitment and supports. So yeah, for me, that's the only question I want ideally answered before I played the game. But I get the feeling that Nintendo's just gonna leave it hanging for us to discover. But if I were to pick one, I want to just choose one. Recruit. I get to recruit all of them per path rather than having to decide where I want this particular character to go, which faction. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I feel with Fortune's Weave. And yeah, so those are my thoughts on the direct. So I figured since Phil wasn't around today, I might as well deep dive on Fortune's Weave because I know Phil's not gonna deep dive like this, and he's not gonna understand stuff. So I might as well take the opportunity to. Well, it's just me for today. Anyway, let's see what you guys have to say. Where did I stop? Oh shit, there's a lot of comments. Phillip proof, yeah, the swords and slippers, yeah, swords and slippers. Yeah, they could make a spin-off game that's more rated R. Would you risk it for that? But yes, true. Getting bitten by the hair. Yeah, so I really feel Ravnet. Even though people are arguing, oh, Ishmael's at the start of the game. You know, guys, like I feel like a lot of excitement or jaw-dropping moments was taken away the moment Nintendo revealed that. We need a Path of Rages remake. Hopefully. Let's support Fortune's Weave for now, even though it's like $80, 70/$80. But given everything they showed in this game, it's 100% worth it. It's worth it's gonna be such value for money, this Fortune's Weave. So I don't think people will complain that it costs that much, given how much value they're providing. Someone who sided with Edelgard, I'm suspicious of dragons who run everything. Yep. I'm also team Crimson Flower for sure. Probably team D. Yeah, all of them were well presented. All of them are compelling to try out for sure. I forgot what this is about, but yeah, probably something I said about Easter eggs. The goddess Theodora, the arm. Yeah. There's a name I forgot. I just forgot. Well, we'll probably we'll find out once we play the game. I would be surprised how much they revealed, but they showed a trailer for the war arc in Three Houses. So I don't remember because I got Three Houses not watching the trailers before I got the game. I didn't get the game at launch, so I don't know how much they revealed in that one. But I don't think they revealed why the war started compared to here they did. So yeah, I feel like a good portion of the thrill was taken away because of that. You can just decide to leave certain characters. Yeah, that's implied. That goes with any Fire Emblem game. As long as it's not the Lord, you'll be fine. It's not the Lord. You can leave any character to die. Awakening was deferred. Yeah, good game. But really hard on Lunatic Plus. Like even I couldn't maddening on Three Houses is nothing compared to Lunatic Awakening. It's in a whole nother level. Yeah, I still I've heard of the Fire Emblem games back in the GBA era, but I never got around it. I was playing other JRPGs. The Church of Seros restricted technology. Yeah, it kind of proves further my point that maybe this is a prequel back when they didn't do that yet, or at least they weren't as strict. Yeah, back then you needed to check Serene's Forest for the growth rates if you really wanted to know for your for your run. But now it's there. You don't need to go to the website anymore. They're usually based on personality suit their starting. Yep. But at the same time, if you've played many times, you want to try something unconventional. Like I did one run one time on maddening with the Blue Lions. I made my female Byleth Gremory. It was ass, but I managed it. I made her a spellcaster, but yeah, I made it work. Oh shoot, I got a raid. My bad. I didn't see. Thank you for the raid. Whoever raided me. Shoot, I wasn't looking. I wasn't paying attention. Sorry. Who did I get raid? My bad. Yeah, sorry. I missed it. Yep, thank you for the raid. Thank you. Ramahat, why guy to a cute agent? Here we are. Yeah. Sorry. I didn't. I wasn't paying attention. We got a raid. Fastest look better than Three Houses. It's I suppose, yeah, they have more production value. They have more, but they have a bigger budget now, so they look more distinct. So yeah. Oh, Camelot, Camelot. Sorry. Oh, Camelot. I got a raid from Camelot. Okay. Yeah, sorry, Cody. You're probably not on anymore. I didn't notice. Yeah, so oh yeah, shoot. I didn't see the concurrent viewers. It's suddenly 100 plus. So sorry, whoever's from Camelot is still here. Yeah, I didn't see the raid. My bad. Seth is definitely younger for sure. Yep, he's Saint Keyhole. Like whoever's still left here, you pretty much know these stuff, or you're okay with spoilers. Esmeralda's peak design, yeah, for sure, for sure. And she's a heavy armor too, aka Edelgard build. Yeah, a lot of good waifus, in Fortune's Weave. I'm excited. I definitely am. Whatever happened to old school? It's still anime in terms of like the art style. It's just that the setting is not more Middle Eastern. So yeah, but it's still good in my opinion. Yeah, Rabnet, I get the feeling that the 4 starting story arcs are a lot shorter than it's being implied. Like it's maybe 1/4 at most, or 1/5 of a 3 houses route. That's what I feel. Like the per story, like Kai's default story before Eshmel goes back in time to save them. I get the feeling that it's a lot shorter than initially implied. You could recruit most of the students if you use your time wisely anyway. Yeah, you can. Or if you do New Game Plus, you keep your support skill if you want to go that way. But I don't, because like, I'm a purist in terms of playing my maddening runs. Dietrich's story looks cool too, since he's fighting these things. Yeah. But I get the feeling they're fighting, all factions are fighting those machines. So it's not just a Dietrich exclusive. It's more like I'm more excited for his backstory, since he's from Fodlan and he looks a lot like Yaritza. So he might be Yaritza and Mercedes' ancestor. So that's the part I'm more intrigued about Dietrich. Diagartha and Fabio. Yeah, I get that feeling too. Yeah, Fabio's a priest of Zero, so they're gonna play another role here. Yeah, a load of questions. I already explained the gist of mine. Like story-wise, for sure, there's a lot of things we don't know. I'm really hoping there's a really good twist in the story, because they already revealed it here in this direct. I really wish that there's another one that we just don't know about. That's just as, if not a better, jaw-dropping moment compared to what they revealed here. Yeah, if you check out the Japanese sites for these games, they tell you even more. Yeah, I'm like, I think I know enough story-wise. I think they've shared more than enough story-wise. Right now, it's the gameplay questions that I have with regards to recruitment and supports. I get the feeling supports and romancing takes a back seat for this iteration. I feel like there's just too many variables given the scope of the game and the number of characters available. I think swapping come after you get to the second arc. Yeah, that kind of makes sense too, Ramnad. But like if you want to get the S supports, you have to recruit them at the very start for X faction. It's a lot of layers of complexity there. So yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. Like you get to swap them out later, like in the time skip. Yeah. I do think it won't be instant. Yeah. It's like I'm thinking, it's like, do I really need to account like pre-time skip? Like, what if I recruit too little people for Lida, or I recruit too many people for Dietrich? That's my worry. That's a factor that I don't want to worry about. But I get the feeling that's the case. I get the feeling that you have to factor in who, like, all 4 factions get an equal pool, at least in the pre-time skip, equal pool of the recruitable party members. They won't just let you do it from the start. Yeah. Balmore's named after an evil entity from Celtic folklore. Yeah, they often get these JRPGs. They often get from literature or from from real life source material. Hey, Jesus de Villa. It sounds like there will be separate other stories from Ashmal meets with the other individual lords. Yeah, I hope like it's a separate universe, but then again, like it doesn't make sense with my story where, the same party members for all four. Like, there's gonna be four of this guy. If you recruit for if there's gonna be four Nines or four Noctulas for all four of them, yeah, it doesn't make sense. There's just gotta be one. Eshmel only maddening him. Yeah, but you won't be using him in the pre-time skip though. at least in the bulk of it. One of these powers they have might be in some way killing them. Yeah, it makes sense too. It can work. Yeah, there might be. We don't know, but at this point, I just want to know in game. I don't want it being told that at Myanmar. Like they already said too much with the story. Seems like Breath of the Wild where you can just beat the final boss if you want, but it's ridiculous. Like, yeah, I get the feeling. That's how it's gonna go pre-time skip, and you'll get a different ending too. You'll get a different ending for it. But if you do it wrong, you trigger an incursion and bad. Yeah, if he dies, like the trailer they showed, if he dies, what do you call this? If he dies, you get a bad ending. Dagda's destroyed, evil dragon wins, and the continent is in shambles. There's probably one ending that's like that. Yeah, we don't know that too. If they die at the same time, exactly. We don't know that yet. But yeah, it's more looking like this. They already don't have all support characters with all characters. I think the recruitables will have limited support. So yeah, I think so too. Which is sad, but we take what we can get. Yeah, I agree with this hierarchy. Ashmel, the Lords, and then yeah. In terms of priority of how many supports they get. Euphos, Olympia, top waifu. Yeah, we're all gonna have our favorites. Another thing about she was born. Yep. Like the moment that trailer said the very first trailer of Fortune Sweep, they say Dagda. Oh shit! Oh, here we go. We're getting a new Fire Emblem game. Yeah, it's either that guy is his ancestor or Shamir is his ancestor. We'll find out. I went to see Spider-Man today. Now I can finally watch last week's. Look, it's good if you froze your brain. Brand New Day is good if you froze your brain. Kind of like what I did, but when you realize certain things, like, oh shit, it's actually not a good movie. Especially when you watch Mahler's review, it's like, it's pure destruction. He takes one point by point. He says why it sucks. I said it last week with Phil. Like, you know what, Phil? This could have been a 5 to 10 minute movie if Jean Grey just reached out to Peter for help. They could have skipped the entire thing and just went to Defense Central right away. But it is what it is. I kind of wonder if the Lords have 2 unique stories each. Technically, yes. Like, the path where they eventually die without Eshmel's intervention, and the part where he does. He/she does. So, actually, yeah, they have 2 each. At least, they have 2 each. But in terms of divergence, kind of like Edelgard, I don't think so. I think that's... Yeah, it doesn't make sense where if he's going to band them together to fight the evil. So, I think that possibility is gone now, given what they revealed in the direct. But I could be wrong, but I'm leaning towards I think that's not the case anymore. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the reason why I skipped Engage, because like the moment I saw the first trailer, you can summon all the heroes with the rings. Like, yeah, this is gonna have some BS shitty story. That's why I didn't play Engage. Not yet, anyway. Because like, yeah, you've made peak story with Treehouse, and then you suddenly decide to downgrade with this shitty ass MCU like story with an evil dragon. Like, no, thank you. I'm not gonna play I'm not gonna play it. Yeah, like I'm pretty sure Fabio is inspired by Hubert by a long mile, by a lot. So yeah, there's probably gonna have some intricacies there with Hubert. And Gears as deep as a kiddie pool. Yeah, I know a lot of people are saying the story was shit, but the gameplay was really, really good. So I feel like I owe it to myself to play it someday, which I'll probably do eventually, but just not now, since Fortune Sweep is just around the corner. No, There's like that. They stopped doing that after Fates. It stopped after Fates, so yeah. I don't think we'll be getting that kind of plot feature for a very long time. But they really did. They tried hard to it. kudos to Intelligent System. They tried to address every feature, address every flaw of the previous Fire Emblem games, and apply a lot of new stuff. So that's one of the things they didn't apply because like it didn't make sense story wise, but everything else, like they did it. They really, you know, the monastery dilemma, the no golden ending dilemma, they addressed each one. So, you know, they deserve credit for that. I might have missed it, but the VMAX info you got from Black Widow, but oh, I'm gonna break your excitement, Painless. The VMAX is incredibly stupid. I'm not sure if you're asking me what's the VMAX reference. It's a stupid reference where when Defense Control captured Jean Grey, they locked her up in the chair, right? And she was looking up. Eventually, she was looking up. On up was an air ventilation with that said ventilation max. Then it's partially gets concealed. It says V max. So that's what the sister Sarah was pertaining to, V max. So that's like the message. Oh, I died here. I died here. So that's it. That's what V max is, which is retarded, which is incredibly stupid. Just don't know where Yelena got it from. I think Jean Grey might have, I forgot already, sorry. I think Jean Grey spilled it at some point in one of her mind controlling journey. But yeah, anyway, it's retarded. Yeah, I agree. It's incredibly stupid. Yeah, I know, Rab. I know, like the older Fire Emblem games follow a more traditional story about stopping evil dragon, but you know, in 2026 or in the late 2020, you know, you can do more. You definitely can do better. I know Fire Emblem, the final boss is usually always a dragon, but there are ways to tell the story better, and Engage chose not to do that at all. Since it was not real info, should not have been in a database. Yeah, it's retarded. It's really stupid. Anyway, yeah. Okay, that's should be good for today's stream. So thank you guys. I had fun, especially the Fire Emblem one. It was like, you know, I don't get to do that often, and I didn't want to do it with Phil around where he couldn't relate because he doesn't play Fire Emblem as deep as I do. So at least I had this chance to be able to talk to deep dive with you guys what I think, my impressions of this game, if like the new features that I'm excited for. But yeah, so next week Phil should be back. I think he should be back unless like something came up again with regards to him moving his house or yeah, hopefully nothing he has to address right away. So anyway, wait, let me check if anyone's online. Is there anyone who is online right now? Yeah, so sorry for Cody for Camelot. I missed your notif. I can see Gamer Empress on. Do you guys want me to take her to Gamer Empress? Okay. And Cyclops appeared. Oh, okay. That one I didn't notice, but you know, I'll find out when we play the game. So Philip is the guest for next stream. Yeah, that's we'll have Philip on, guys. We'll have Philip. I asked Philip to come on next week, so it should be fun. Okay, let's see. Let's open YouTube's. Okay, let me open YouTube Studio. Let's go for Gamer Empress. Okay, do I remember how to raid people? Shoot, where I keep forgetting. Where is it against? Okay, let me, I forgot. My bad. Let's see. Customization. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'll be taking you guys to Gamer Empress. So yeah, so that's about it. I'm trying. Okay, so as for stuff that I am planning, I'll be having a. I'll be hopefully I'm uploading another video in my second channel, and yeah, I'll see if I'll try to make a dragon sword video because like I'm really liking the game. On top of the Gunnar stuff, I got all the swimsuits last night for the 3 characters, so it takes some work, but it's a fun game. It's, on top of the Gunnar stuff, it's a pretty fun game. But yeah, so that's about it for content wise. I for my main channel, I'm really just waiting for Trails in the Sky and Fortune's Weave. So I don't think I'll have time to shoehorn a short JRPG for my main channel, but yeah, second channel and here, Project Eggroll for Dragon Sword. So anyway, thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys next week for more Project Eggroll, and Phil should be back by then. Okay, where is the bye bye? On the wait, let me answer these questions. Are you going to allow Furufi on the channel? Yeah, he'll be the guest next week. He said he wanted to be on. He wanted to be a guest for Project Eggroll. So I'll entertain his request. He'll behave. Yeah, Stellar Blade's good. Like it's better than Beasts of Reincarnation, in my opinion. I think Beasts of Reincarnation, it's like the inferior one compared to Nier and compared to Stellar Blade. Anyway, goodbye. See you, chat. Okay. You guys will be headed to Gamer Empress. So give my regards. So thank you, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya.